Welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
If you like a lot of wrestling on YouTube, join our cult. Hello and welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. Please come for the wrestling and then only leave comments about all the other stupid crap we talk about for the next 2.5 hours. You're listening to the dulcet tones of Maffew, the Botchmania dude, and I'm joined this week by the man of the hour. He's too sweet to be sour, hasn't met a crap British TV show he hasn't streamed on Twitch. It's the boss of our jobs and our hearts, Alan Pacitti.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going wonderful, all the better for seeing you. And in the corner to his left, already in the ring, he's a lot less cool since we've changed his CFO $ music. It's Jack the Jobber.
I feel like, thank you, cheers.
Happy
I feel
birthday
like,
to
well, it's not,
you.
is it? It's just not. I feel like Maffew really puts a lot of thought in and almost pre-writes Adam's introductions, but then mine are like the homework that he remembered he had to do after that, and he's like, oh, last minute on the bus. Never mind. How are you, Maffew? Yeah, he did. How are you, guys?
I'm wonderful, thank you, Jack. I am very relaxed. It's been a very positive mental health week in the
good
Maffew world.
stuff.
I did a sensory deprivation tank.
Oh,
like Joe Rogan.
He's probably done that, yes. And people like Joe Rogan have talked about the amazing effects, the mind-blowing experiences of being in a tank filled with saline solution. So you float because it's very salty. You have earphones in and it's pitch black. And some people like Joe Rogan have tripped out and they've experienced like divine interventions. They've seen the universe being expanding in front of them. And I've gone, wow, really? Just from doing one of these? And they go, well, it was that and the tabs of acid had dropped. I did not do that. Instead, I just relaxed wonderfully for an hour.
Terrifying. It sounds horrible. It's not my sort of thing at all. I don't think I'd do it. Was it good?
Oh, absolutely, mate. It was so good, in fact, that I made the mistake of doing it in the morning on Saturday. And they were like, okay, got much on later on? I went, oh yeah, I'm doing a bit of work and typing. And they looked at me like, I don't think you'll be doing much work later on.
What?
You don't want to do anything afterwards. But there's no evening slots available. So I just kind of floated home. Didn't even touch the pavement.
What was going through your mind when you're in there? Because I think I would struggle to switch off in an hour. But I know, like, you can't see anything, you can't hear anything. Were you thinking? I know that's a weird question.
No, I think it's a very good question, Your Honour. And it's weird because the first 20 minutes they played relaxing, pulsing music. And then after 20 minutes, it was 40 minutes of silence. And then 20 minutes of, like, music come back on so they get yourself reset. For the first 20 minutes with the music felt like an hour and a half. As soon as everything went off, it went by like 2 minutes.
What?
And I guess there was just that much thought. And again, for people like myself who spend a lot of time in front of computers with 17 tabs open on Chrome and everything else, the phone out, it's really easy just to fill your brain with crap. And removing all that and you're just left with your thoughts, it was either going to be amazing or terrible. And it was amazing for me. So
you couldn't pay me to do that. You could. You could pay me a certain sum to do that, but it sounds terrifying. Really.
Are you afraid of what's in your mind?
No, not my mind. I'm afraid of much more practical things. Like, what if the fire alarm goes off while you're in there, and you're just like, "Oh, get me out! Can you get out? Have you got
you can get out. You're not locked in."
Oh, right. Oh,
It's not The Simpsons where they put a cinder block on top and
Right.
ends up going down a big long hill.
How do you get out if you can't see?
You get yourself. Well, they say like because you float around, and I really did float. And at one point, because you get like a neck brace thing that you have on an airplane, I heard this noise like static. I went, "Whoa, is that my brain cracking?" And no, it was the noise of the thing rubbing against the side. They said like stay in position, have your arms out, and so with this over, you just waddle over there, press the button, and lights come on.
Have
Are you naked?
You've got to guess where the button is. You are.
You are naked.
Yeah, it's a sealing solution. Yeah, you have to wash your hair and your body beforehand.
I thought you'd have trunks on.
I thought so. I brought some as well, and they went no.
Yeah. Oh well. Fair enough.
They'd pop in and go, "You all right?" Like, no. But yeah, so we're right. You hate them, and you would never do that. All right, so that's the next punishment video sorted out.
Yeah.
Pacitti, what have you been up to?
Not a great deal. not a great deal. I'm really, I'm very unprofessional of me to say, but I'm flagging today. I slept for about 3 hours. The streams have messed me up once again. And I'm just, when you fill yourself with so much caffeine, you sort of feel like a shell. Like your body's not working, but your brain is just being powered by the drug caffeine. I've kind of got that today. So if I'm not my usual self, that's why. But everything's grand. I was in the Thunderdome on Friday night, which was a lot of fun.
Oh,
Thunderdome.
could you see yourself?
Yeah, not for much. So I got in there really early. I got the email link and I immediately pressed it and I set myself up. And then I basically sat there for 2.5 hours waiting because I thought if I get in really, really early, I'm more likely to get a better seat. And I got an all right seat. I was like 5 rows back. You could see me on the hard cam a few times. There's a shot of Roman Reigns in the opening promo, and I managed to get my face really close. So I'm scared because they're all going like, "Oh, cheer along, boo this guy." Oh, he's all. At one point, Sasha finished her promo with "you bitch" or whatever it was, and then the producer immediately pipes up and goes, "Can we get a big cheer for that bitch?" But yeah, you see me a few times and I was getting close up like that. And halfway through, the most enjoyable bit was they cut to backstage and Drew Gulak was there on a webcam and he's just having a whale of a time. And he's going, "Right, we're gonna get the blood pumping. Everybody stand up." Don't know why he talks like that. So we all stood up and he's just like, "Okay, thrust at the camera, twirl your hips." And so for about 45 seconds a minute, I was just thrusting at Drew Gulak with my knob very much on display through my shorts.
Drew Gulak's the warm-up guy of the Thunderdome. That's
weird.
That's an incredible scoop.
Yeah, it was odd. It was really odd. So I did a live stream of the thing and then thought, take that down just in case, because it was a bit naughty, I guess, what I was doing. I wasn't trying to disrupt the show. I just sort of wanted to see if I could get on there. But during the main event, you see me doing the spunky C word dance. So I managed to get that on telly, which I'm very, very proud of. And then I was kicked off because I obscured my face. And there's obviously some sort of facial recognition thing that if there's no face on display for a few seconds, it will kick you out and replace you with somebody. So I held up a sign that says Push Mojo, which you're allowed to do. You're allowed to hold up signs supporting your favorite WWE superstars. And I did that, and I got automatically booted. I might try and get on again because it was an experience, but it was knackering. I was sweating by the end of it because they want you to be animated the whole time. But then you've got people in the sorry, I'm really blabbing on it. You've got people in the front row just like not really paying attention or anything. The whole time I'm going, "Come on, yeah, this is the band, come on, let's go, Lindsay," and all this stuff. And they put me 5 rows back. I thought if I really got into it, they would give me better seats, but they didn't.
That's a wonderful experience. I can't imagine your excitement when you found out you were going to be on it, because it's prime Adam Pacitti wind-up situation. Yeah. It
was really fun. It was very exciting, and I thought, because I got in so early, and it said, the actual message came up on screen, "You're in the Thunderdome," and then the producer starts talking to you. He's like, "Okay, guys, put your thumbs up if you can hear me." And she went, this was before like the stream had started. "Okay, I can see you there in the blue check shirt." It was me. And so I knew at that point I'm on there. But I didn't do anything really naughty or anything. I was just very animated.
Good.
So it's fun. But yeah, other than that, all is well. The diet has gone to crap, and I've stopped walking as much, but I'm getting back into it as of this week. It's just the streams, they mess me up. So the last ones are a Friday night SmackDown draft, and then Monday night Raw draft, and then job done.
They've you just reminded me when you were saying, but apart from that, the week's gone fine. And I've just been at Tesco and I was feeling in a great mood. It's been quite a sunny day, and they've set up a testing station at the bottom of my street.
Oh.
Yeah.
And cases are very high here. You got to be careful where you walk and what you touch.
Definitely. And I'm in quite a studenty area. There's loads of student accommodation around this area.
Oh,
so,
of course.
What was it, like 900 tested positive in the matter of like 2 days?
Yeah, but only like 200 had any symptoms.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy how you might not be able... We might have all had it.
Yeah.
We might just not be able to tell. I mentioned this on the podcast. I went for a test last week or the week before. It was negative. Did I talk about this experience of going for the test?
I don't think you did, no. What was it? Did you get a thing up your nose?
I did
How
it.
was that?
Put it myself. Not
Oh!
comfortable. Yeah, because they can't have someone there doing it. They've got to stand away from you and like give instructions. It was like, it wasn't pleasant. I didn't have a great time, but it wasn't. I've heard some horror stories. It wasn't as bad as people have made out. I don't think. Like people think you've got to put it right up your nose to like here. It's not that far and stuff like that.
Right,
But you
okay.
know, just
Can
make
you
sure you
sneeze?
do. No, but make sure you do the mouth one first because you don't want to stick something up your nose and then in your mouth. Other way around.
Oh, it's the same stick.
It's the same stick.
Oh.
I know. I felt a bit deprived. I was like, depraved. Sorry, I was a bit like, but it was okay. So that was my cool. Negative. Come on, the boys.
Oh, good negative, right? Yeah.
Yeah, good negative. Yeah.
Oh, it's been an interesting week. You've had the fear of COVID and holding a Push Mojo sign up there, so you've both had a bad week. Let's see what the rest of wrestling is like, shall we? Oh, good, bad news to carry on. Glow, Netflix series, has officially been cancelled before the fourth series started. I admit I didn't watch much of it. Did anybody else here watch it?
Not really. Seen bits.
I watched the first 2 seasons. Thought it was really well done. I'm not really one for celebrity crushes, but Alison Brie's like my celebrity, which always gets a big response from people for some reason. They're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Don't know what she looks like. Is she an attractive woman?
yes, of course she is." Yeah. Why is Maffew laughing about that?
Just the way that he would say that, like, well, is she an attractive woman?
Oh, she's stunning, isn't she? Yeah. Yeah, understandably.
Thank you, but on 2 separate occasions, like my ex-girlfriend and my current girlfriend have both gone. They've pressured me into saying who my celebrity crush is. I've finally admitted that it's Alison Brie, and they've gone, "Really?" And I'm like, "You told me to tell you. I didn't want to tell you."
Oh, I searched Alison Breeze. I was wondering, like, there's loads of pictures of watches that have come up. Like, there's a unicorn watch and a couple of cat watch. Alison Brie is in the cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, she is really attractive. I don't know who I was looking at earlier, but it wasn't Alison Brie.
Alison Breeze could well be a porn actress. Oh, she's quite forward, isn't she?
Yeah, she's very understandably so. Good choice.
Thank you.
I don't know about the buffet, but I like a spread. What were we saying?
Doesn't matter.
Sad that Glow's been cancelled. It was a well-made show, I think.
Hadn't they filmed the 4th season already, and they're not putting it together, or were there some bits to film still, or something?
Something like that. It was planned, certainly.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. What show was mentioned last week? Glenn Joseph has been released or quit or whatever. NXT UK, leaving just Jim Smallman in NXT UK. Do you remember Mr. McMahon's Corvette from '98? That had all the concrete filled in it.
Yep. Here we go.
They found it.
Oh, what? Is it in the warehouse?
It's in a warehouse in Norwalk, Connecticut. And
Right,
it's
yeah, I
full
thought
of
they
plants
kept it.
now.
Full of plants?
Yes.
That's lovely.
Sorry, they lost it.
I don't know if they lost it or
done.
just put it somewhere, but I don't think anyone was looking for it. But a Corvette filled with cement.
Right.
Yeah, there's like little plants coming up now. It's like Swamp Thing.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. And there's not been a lot of news that isn't something we'll talk about later on. So we can talk about NXT now if you like, or should we talk about that in the week of wrestling?
We'll do it in the
NXT.
week of wrestling. The takeover.
go on,
Take
then.
hour.
Oh, TakeOver. Oh, we'll do it in the week of... Yeah, we'll do it
In the week
There's
of
other
wrestling.
wrestling news. There was meant to be a UK pay-per-view headlined by Drew McIntyre versus Tyson Fury, which would
What?
have been
Yeah.
terrible.
Has this been on the Cultaholic news site? I haven't seen it.
There may have been a... WrestleVotes on Twitter is saying that apparently WrestleMania 37's looking like... So you know Ron DeSantis, the man that none of us had heard of, but then became very familiar with because he's the governor of Florida during this year's WrestleMania season. He has now said that apparently stadium shows in Florida can just go ahead.
From now.
Effective immediately, I think is what I read. I know, it's absolutely
Aren't
crazy.
cases in Florida really bad as well?
Yeah, Florida's a bit of a hotspot as well. So the Miami Dolphins have gone, we'll keep it at a reduced capacity. Cheers, Ron. So they're having like 13,000 people in their 65,000 seat arena or stadium. But apparently, this is according to WrestleVotes, I don't know how credible, but they're often right about certain things. They've said apparently Vince is well up for it, because of course he is. It's Vince McMahon. He wants a big packed WrestleMania. No one knows
It's just a big inconvenience to him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Forget the human implications of the whole thing. It's just, oh, bloody hell, that's annoying. We can't shift as much merch in person.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and the other big news thing that I forgot, I was actually trying to go on the the wonderful concrete Corvette announcement was, because it feels like 3 months ago since it was reported, but it is only a week. Twitch and Cameo and all those other things wrestlers have been using to help prop themselves up during these COVID-filled times. WWE has now announced that not only will they be integrating them into WWE contracts, what they make from those, separate to what they are paid for, it's in the contract originally for WWE, the amount that they earn from that will be removed from their downside agreement. It is shocking.
Independent contractors, though.
I can kind of see some perspective with Vince, and hold on before you get the pitchforks out. If they are and have been using their names and brands that WWE does own, I can kind of see where they're coming from, because they want to make sure that, that WWE's own Roman Reigns doesn't go on Twitch and start saying some crazy things, because that's going to look bad for them. I can understand that, and I can see why a lot of people have changed their names and usernames on Twitch and that, like Paige and Xavier. But to take it from the downside, where it's a completely different thing than what we're doing, is, I mean...
My understanding is, and I'm not defending it either, is that because part of their downside covers media appearances and fan meet and greets, this is sort of replacing those. But that doesn't really hold when we get away from COVID and they're able to do those, and the contract still exists and says that this counts towards your downside. So it's I think it's just not on, is it? You can't defend it, really.
No, you can't. And on that sour note, we end the news section. Fantastic formatting as always here at Cultaholic.
Everybody get excited for the Cultaholic Hall of Fame!
And now it's time for everyone's favourite segment, the Hall of Fame.
Come on.
In condescending... Thank you. In condescending order from last week, Borat, 28%.
Ooh, fair.
Bit of a shocker there.
Not percent, these are votes. I forgot to put the percent thing on, sorry.
Oh, sorry. 28 votes. Getting into bed and then taking your socks off. I saw much unimpressment, that's a word, from these two last weeks. I had a lot of people tweeting at me and going, yes, this is awesome. Or even better, people going, I've never done that before, let me try it. Maffew, I do declare, thank you very much for the heads up. 61 votes, but gutted. Chris Jericho and MJF last week at AEW Dynamite, 63.
The thing is, you were in the lead yesterday, because I checked it yesterday, and before I went to bed, you were like 10 votes ahead. And then I checked this morning, just as I was putting the notes together for the podcast, and you were behind by 1 point. So I thought, okay, I'll give it another couple of hours, just in case he can make a big last-minute comeback.
Sorry.
Well, you get up until the recording time, don't you?
Do you? Okay, right. As long as it followed the rules. This is very 2000. This is very. This is very George Bush and Al Gore, and I'm not sure I like it.
I just wanted to say, but no, the margin got worse for you. You lost by 2 votes. Well, 3, I guess, for the win. But those people are obviously mental, deranged like yourself, Maffew. It's not a thing. And I saw all of the comments saying, "Oh yeah, that's brilliant. Maffew's really." Really on point there. I assumed those were sock puppets of yourself, because nobody could get that into taking their socks off in bed.
I don't understand.
Have you still not? So you just talked about how you've been flagging. You've not been sleeping very well.
I haven't been sleeping.
You're having issues, and you said that last night you went to bed. It's on stream. You did go to bed.
I did go to bed.
You still haven't tried this?
No, but No, I haven't. I saw one comment saying that maybe it's because Jack and Adam don't have especially hairy feet.
I don't have very hairy feet, that's true.
No, I don't. I've got a little on my big toe. Do you have quite hairy feet, sort of?
Not like...
Could you get them out?
Not like Harry Nelson's.
We're not getting the feet
not for free, Pacitti, no. Not like Harry Nelson's hairy, but there are hairs. Yes.
Okay. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's
that's it.
Do you think that's what it is? Is it the polyester brushing against your little Tootsie hairs?
I mean, I would have said it was a body temperature thing, but that makes sense. If you got hairy feet, then yeah, they're going to be naturally temperatured.
Maybe we got a lot. I would assume, in fact, that we've got a lot of hairy-footed viewers and listeners. Just from the people that I've met at wrestling shows, they're quite often very hairy, aren't they? And I'm sure that does extend to their feet. I've got a bit of body hair. I'm not having to go at people with body hair. I've got a little tuft there, little tuft on my lower back, but not hairy feet. Not yet, anyway.
I wish I had the tuft there.
Oh, mine's not impressive.
Is it not like a bit action hero? Oh, okay.
No, it's definitely not a bit action hero.
Okay, fair.
It's all right, Jack. Your soul is hairy, so it's wonderful. And we're talking about...
Just kidding. I heard, don't worry.
Just kidding.
We're talking
Get to
about...
bed, you.
Again, it's fantastic that I came second. We're spending all this time talking about the thing that didn't win. Jack, yours won. Chris Jericho and MJF being all best buddies, but
I bet Dynamite helped that. If the votes swung that late on, last night's Dynamite will have helped that.
Yeah, good shout.
As the winner of last week, Jack, what have you got for us?
So during lockdown, me and a couple of the guys from work have been, occasionally getting together on Discord, playing a few online games together, that sort of thing. And one of the games that we've got really into is a game called Golf with Your Friends, which is a fantastic game. It's just mini golf. It's really simple. You click and drag and... And Pacitti the other day was like on Twitter, don't know what I'm streaming tonight. And I suggested, semi-jokingly, Golf with Friends. Or Golf with Your Friends, the real name of it. And other things won out. But then Richard Tubman, who edits this very podcast and is listening now, he replied on Twitter saying, oh, surprised you've suggested this. Didn't realise you wanted to get embarrassed in front of an audience. Ooh. Them's fighting words, right? So this week, or last weekend, we played a private game of Golf with Your Friends, and I just absolutely wiped the floor with everybody. I've never played Golf with Your Friends like it before in my life, in my entire Golf with Your Friends career. And halfway through, I realised, wow, what a brilliant game this is when it's all clicking for you and it's all firing on all cylinders. So I'm nominating Golf with Your Friends, and also throwing down the gauntlet. And also, as well, I've got to express disappointment in the rest of the Discord group, because halfway through, I was like, someone went, Jack's miles ahead. I was like, yeah, no, it's going really well. And then the sort of consensus was, yeah, well, we're not trying anymore because you're so far ahead.
I hate that.
I know! They took my glory away.
That happens in real mini golf all the time, doesn't it? If you go and play mini golf and somebody's like a fair few shots behind, they start taking the piss, whacking it as hard as they can. So shame on you, Richard,
get really drunk
Owen,
they get really drunk and go back to the
James.
hotel at 9 p.m. Yeah, some of them do as well.
How dare you, Jack? That's a completely untrue story. It was 7 p.m. Fact.
Good job. Sorry, just to clarify, what was the thing about jumping? Because you left me CC'd in on those tweets, and I didn't know what any of you were on about. I just ignored them. I just pressed like and then muted it.
So we play with jumping on. So if you tap if you click the mouse, your ball jumps. Mm-hmm. So you can jump over obstacles and stuff like that. And I'm better with jumping off. So I'm more of a purist when it comes to Golf with Your Friends. So the first time I ever won, and I only won my first game like the session before this one where I was destroying, that was with jumping off. So all the other lads were like, jumping on's the way to go. And I was like, you absolute disgraces. Like, they've got no respect for the gentleman like nature of Golf with Your Friends, and they want just jumping on. Click a button at any point, the ball will jump. It takes away so much of the game for me.
And that doesn't count as a strike. What's it called? A stroke. When you hit a ball, it doesn't count as a hit.
It doesn't count as an extra hit. It's as the ball's going along. So if your ball's going along towards the hole and there's a wall in the way, you can just jump the ball over it.
Oh, that's bollocks.
I know. Thank you very much.
I'm with you there, Jack.
Thank you. So Golf with Your Friends, anyway, is my nomination. Great game. And I feel like I've hit the next level of my Golf with Your Friends game. So really buzzing about that.
Was jumping on when you won?
Oh, I won with jumping on and off last time.
Oh, that's better then. That's even better.
Yeah, I beat them, but they weren't trying, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Fantastic. In 2 weeks, took you to become a purist.
I'm gatekeeping Golf with Your Friends. I'm the moderator of the subreddit, and I'm just banning everybody.
Yeah. So remember, if you are going to play Jack against golf, it's Farm Destination, no jumping. Oh, he doesn't want to play it. And I'll go next, because I don't have... To everyone else, not going to sound that impressive, but Cineworld, a cinema chain, has just announced that they're closing this week. Right now, sadly, the employees have no clue what that means. If it's going to be for the foreseeable future, forever, ever, or until things get a bit better or they get some government assistance. Until then, they're closing this. Well, by the time this podcast comes on the air, it's probably gone by now. So I went, even though COVID's a thing and everything else, and no bugger wanted to go with us, to see the 2020 re-release of Akira, the classic animated film from the 80s. And why was the 2020 re-release of this film? Any specific reason? Why, yes, it's set in the current year, and it's also the year the Olympics were going to happen in Japan. So there was that thing of, okay, so I guess decided to re-release it, reissue it and everything. So I went there and had a lovely time because they played it as loud as humanly possible. And it's just got this huge booming soundtrack, lots of stuff happening. Mate, it starts off, it's all silence and shows Tokyo getting bombed. And then it's like, boom, and these drums kick in. It's just like, Christ. And mate, it was awesome. Loved it. But I just want to point out, it's not necessarily going to see Akira or anything else like that, but just because there's a lot of pleasures now, not just taking your socks off in bed, that we're going to have to say goodbye to for, until to be confirmed. And one of them's going to go to the cinema. Cineworld anyway. I think the Everyman Cinema is still open in Newcastle, and there's the other one. But yeah, for now we've got to say goodbye to things, and one of them is just going to the cinema. Because of appreciating the things that we're taking for granted are going for a while.
So your pick is going to the cinema rather than the film Akira.
Yeah, because I want to win. And it's weird. I'm sure, I'm not going to say, well, I mean, if you haven't seen Akira, you freak. People don't like that. People go, you know what I like? Going to the cinema. People go, I can relate to that a lot more than watching a kid's film from the 80s. So, going to the cinema.
Nice.
And thank you again.
It's an all right pick. It's going to win.
It is going to win.
Well, it will win until, 2 minutes before the voting ends.
I
But
feel like...
the other thing, a quick shout out, sorry, Jack. A quick shout out to a friend of the podcast, Ross, for recognising me and saying hello. And I went, all right, bye them. And took a photo of him just to say, thanks for all the work, because, any other place, be it shopping, retail, call centres, or any other menial job that people take for granted, often people who work at the cinemas don't get the credit they deserve for dealing with people's crap. And I just want to say thanks for that. Took a photo of him, said, thank you, mate. Best luck and everything. And they messaged me on Facebook a few hours later. Oh, thanks for that. And I was like, I forgot I had you on Facebook. That was a bit weird then. But yeah, thank you for being cool with us, Ross. So
that's sweet.
What were you going to say, Jack?
I was just going to say, it's a great one. You are probably going to win, like Adam said. So I just feel like we maybe should ban picking things in future that are common answers in a GCSE foreign language speaking exam. Go to the cinema, go to the library, go to the swimming pool. Very general stuff like that. I feel like we should ban it.
Yeah, I beat
so I just realised what an arsehole I sounded like halfway through that.
Yeah, you're right. Things that
Vamos a la biblioteca. Sí.
Yeah. General things, like the concept of music.
All right, yeah, fair. Totally. I did once nominate water, so yeah.
Did it win?
No, Maffew won with sparkling water, I think.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, that war's never going to end.
Voting for that, for sure.
The hairy-footed section of Cultaholic that go to cinema and drink sparkling water.
Yeah,
anyway, I've talked long enough.
You got that? I saw a tweet today, and I can't remember the exact wording, but it really sort of epitomised the way I think we're all feeling at the moment. Is that, and this sounds so melodramatic, given the fact that our grandparents have lived through world wars and whatever, but it does very much feel like sort of all the fun has been stripped away, and we're just sort of existing at the moment, and it resonated with me a little bit because it doesn't feel like we're really pissing lucky as well. We've got the internet and we can stay at home and watch the telly and all that. But yeah, it doesn't feel like we're achieving.
It's not good for the soul, though.
It's not. You're right.
We're meant to be out there a bit more.
Speaking of good for the soul, my nomination is Crimewatch. So Crimewatch, for those who didn't grow up in the UK, Crimewatch was a show that ran on BBC for around 30 years. It got cancelled a couple of years ago, fronted by Nick Ross. Sometimes it was Sue Cook. Jill Dando was on there, who was, of course, murdered. And Crimewatch is a show that recreates crimes. They do reconstructions of crimes. using as many of the original people involved in the crime, not the criminals, because that's who they're looking for, as well as vehicles, property, all that sort of stuff. Why are you shaking your head, Maffew?
No, it's just the way, matter of factly say, well, they reenacted with as many people as possible. Not the people who did it, because they're the people they're trying to catch.
Well, that's the idea of the show, and this is why Crimewatch is so important, and why cancelling Crimewatch was such a travesty. Essentially, I think it should have been sort of national service to be watching Crimewatch, because you never know who's going to pop up on there, who you know. And it had a really big viewing audience, and then that dwindled as the years went on, and it wasn't the same show, especially when Nick Ross left. It's brilliant, and some YouTube user has uploaded like 150, 200 episodes of it, and I've literally, no exaggeration, since the beginning of lockdown, I've watched every single one of them, dating back to, I think, 1986.
How many have you watched there?
What?
How many have you watched
There's
there?
one a month. Not all of them are on there, but like they're about 50 minutes apiece, and the updates are on there. So like an hour later in the night, they go, well, we've had some interesting calls about this wrong, and including 2 names, and 2 people have named the same man. So we're coming for you. And it's really just a brilliant show, and it actually does a lot of good to society, getting these bastards off our streets. And the fact that they've scrapped it, and I know we're in the social media age now where you can just get, like, the police can just whack a photo up on Facebook and everyone goes, oh, that's Jack the Jobber or whatever. But this is important, and it's so beautifully reconstructed, and I just love the program. I love crime documentaries anyway, and Crimewatch felt really unique. And so I'm only doing this because I think if enough people get behind it, and I'm not saying don't vote going to the cinema, but I'm saying if enough people get behind it, we might be able to get Crimewatch back. And I know that's what people really want when they're listening to the podcast.
Crimewatch. Yeah, no, it's a good one.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh,
And as you've been
you're
talking
one
about
of the
this,
people that I'm having a go at then, you little
Yeah.
hairy-footed loser. You're missing out because you don't know. Somebody that maybe is close to you might have been on there doing a really despicable crime, and they might be free because of you, because you didn't watch it. So that's selfish.
The best bit of Crimewatch is obviously the reenactments. That's the best bit, because the acting's often suspect. I was in Dublin once and turned on the hotel TV, and Irish Crimewatch was on, which was another level of comedy. It was absolutely fantastic. Also, the areas of Dublin are split into numbers, so it's like, there's been a thing in Dublin 12. That was a Belfast.
You've done it again.
I've let myself down badly there. It doesn't matter. Irish Crimewatch was brilliant. And
I'll
they
check
named
that out.
different bits of Dublin, like there's been a car robbery in Dublin 12 or whatever. Yeah.
Right. They still do, I think, sometimes Crimewatch Roadshow, which is fronted by a guy called Rav. But I just find him quite pompous and annoying. So I'm saying, bring back Nick Ross. He's like 72 now, Nick Ross. Hell of a broadcaster. Hell of a man.
what's Crimewatch Roadshow? Is it like Antiques Roadshow? But
Yeah, no, it is. They go from
What?
town to town where they'll station up near a crime. They'll have the reconstruction to play, and then they'll be there. But sometimes people mess with them, and those people should be imprisoned as well. Sometimes people will drive past and honk, 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 hey, Rob, you dickhead, and all that sort of stuff. And that's not on. So I'm saying bring back the studio version of Crimewatch, and let's catch more criminals and lock them away. Do you reckon Barry George was innocent, Maffew?
Barry George, sorry, remind me.
The man who was wrongly convicted of murdering Jill Dando.
Oh, of course. Well, you're an expert on this subject. I've never heard that. I've never looked at the Jill Dando thing. The only thing I remember about the Jill Dando thing, other than it happening, was Peter Kay trying to do a joke about it a week and a half after it happened and getting booed off stage.
That's not like
Did he?
Peter Kay.
Yeah.
Peter Kay does a famous bit on Crimewatch, which is very well received.
Does he?
Yeah, he does more of that. I remember. Yeah, actually, you got it.
Yeah, when he talks about how they're not allowed to swear, so you've got lads in balaclavas going, "Put your hands up, you melon!" And that sort of stuff.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. The one bit Peter Kay used to do, he said that he was in, I don't know, like a garage or someplace, and some people came in and went, all right, everyone, get down. And said he was that terrified. He went, what, do you mean dance? And his mate pulled him like, get down, Peter.
There's this joke where he was working in a cinema, and
Oh, yeah.
someone went, "Mate, Screen 12's buzzing. Cheers, I'll tell the manager.
No, again, I'm not Barry Norman. Oh, God, now we're reminiscing about Peter Kay. We've become Peter Kay. But
it was good.
Exactly. It was a long time ago when Crimewatch was on TV. No, I'd never seen it. And as you've been talking about it and setting the scene, you do that very well, Pacitti, with your scene setting. I have had the Casualty theme in my head. It's only now stopped me going, wait, no, I haven't seen... That's
How
not
does
the
that
Crimewatch
go?
theme.
The bill came. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Really
How does
great.
Crimewatch go?
Ooh, I don't know.
Sirens and then helicopter noises. No, the bill came to me. That's the bill.
That's the bill.
Oh man, I can't. I've listened to it
What's
150
Crimewatch? Is it,
times
"You've
recently.
done
It's
it
really
now"?
iconic as well. And as the years went on, and they tried to like modernize it, they added like a load of bloody drum and bass or something in the background and just ruined it. Obviously. Barry George is interesting. You'd like Barry George, Maffew. He once jumped a bus. No, sorry, 6 buses, I think it was, on roller skates. He convinced a load of people to put on a show in a stadium. The guy's a nutter. He convinced a load of people that he was a stuntman and that he was going to jump 6 buses. And I think he broke both his ankles doing it. Never even trained. He just did it. Have a look into it. I'll stop talking about Barry George.
Yeah, but 2 seconds. You can't just drop that in the
across.
conversation. How many buses did he manage?
6. He got over them. Just
so he actually did them?
because
But
well, he didn't land it very well. It's on the internet if you want to have a watch. Steve Powers was his alter ego, and Barry. What's his name? Barry Bulsara. What's Freddie Mercury's real name? Bulsara. He said that he was Freddie Mercury's brother. He just and he used to go by Paul Gadd, which is the real name of.
Your mate from
Brian May.
I hope not. No, not my mate.
Oh, it's Gant. Sorry.
Yeah, Gary Glitter. He used to go
Oh,
by
no.
Gary Glitter's real name as well,
no.
and appeared in Quarters. Yeah. So those are the picks.
I forgot what yours even bloody was. Christ.
I've really derailed that more than I even normally do. I'm really sorry.
Whoa.
Isn't the Heartbeat theme tune brilliant as well? I was just
can't
thinking.
remember
It's just Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison, isn't it?
Why do you kiss when my baby misses?
Oh, yeah, it's a great song.
Great song.
Yeah.
My Brown
Anyway,
Eyed
sorry.
Girl.
It's similar to Brown Eyed Girl, yeah.
It's a Jimmy Hart version. Anyway, Christ, more variety than a box of chocolate roses here. And what?
Doesn't matter.
No mind. My joke was very good. Anyway, Jack has...
Golf with your friends.
Is that the name of the game then? Golf with your
Yep,
friends.
Golf with Your
Friends, the game that you can stream, you can play on Twitch, you can do whatever the hell you like with it. Just don't jump. Mine is going to the cinema because, like the Tyrannosaurus Rex, it's an endangered species. And I'll save you 10 minutes of talking. Crimewatch, the famous TV series from the 90s.
80s. Yeah.
80s. Is that far back?
Into the 90s. Into the 90s.
90s.
Iconic. Bring
Into
it back.
yes. What he said, these are your 3 amazing picks. I know you want to vote for all of them at once, but that's not how voting works. I'm very sorry. You can vote for these by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Please ignore the laughter in the background. This is a very serious category here, the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
I thought that was good. I liked that. I know you want to vote for all of them at once. It was really daytime like TV. It was brilliant.
I'm trying my best.
You
It's
should
like,
host Crimewatch.
Maffew does Crimewatch. Crimomania. Oh my god.
Alright, cue the music.
Just CCTV footage of robbers slipping over as they're trying to leave a house and stuff. Diddly diddly diddly. 8-bit music going on. Wait, no.
Patreon.com.
No, wait, no, it's some lad runs out of a council estate. He's got a bicycle.
Right, Matthew's out of action now. Yeah, patreon.com/Cultaholic.
This is This Week in the Wrestling. It's this bloody week in the wrestling.
This week in wrestling. Now we've got SmackDown, which is good now. Start off with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns talking in the ring. And this was lovely. I wonder if... there's no fancy descriptions this week, by the way. Sadly, the Control-C, Control-V thing of a W website prevented us from doing so. But we had the lovely rant here, and I think Jack will appreciate the M. Bison tones Roman Reigns was giving off here. He went, but I love you, Jay. All I wanted was to have you on pay-per-view and get a big money deal. And for that, all I wanted was you to call me head of the tribal chief, the head of the table. I don't think that's too much to ask. Like, loving it.
Yeah.
Anything else to add to this?
No, it's just so good.
Yeah, he's just nailing it. Like I said it last week, but it's just flawless stuff, isn't it? It wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. Jay should have defeated AJ Styles to show that, no, that wasn't a 1 month thing. He's going to keep on going at him.
It's cool, that, isn't it?
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it probably signifies that AJ is getting drafted, which is to be expected. Obviously, like with the Paul Heyman stuff as well, he probably preferred to be on Raw. But yeah, it's big. It sort of feels like maybe a little bit of a hard reset for AJ. That's it, and maybe he'll pop up doing something a little bit different on Raw. We'll see.
I can see it.
It didn't damage him at all, though, did it? It's AJ Styles. You can't really damage him at this point, and it made Jay feel like an even bigger deal and someone sort of worthy of the main event spots that he's been getting. Yeah, it's great.
Otis defeated John Morrison. Sheamus defeated Shorty G, and then there was some stuff with Riddle, Dorado, Metallic. I skipped all of this.
Like maybe he's getting drafted too, and maybe they've got ideas for him. But I couldn't believe they did. I could believe they did that with Shorty G. Of course I could.
Wait, what did they do again?
They squashed him.
Oh,
Sheamus
right.
beat him in about 90 seconds.
Sheamus has been beating him for about a year now.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It didn't help Sheamus. It certainly didn't help Shorty G. I didn't get it. I couldn't believe it because those two could have a really great little match as well, couldn't they? And they've had all right ones in the past. And yeah, it just felt like a waste of time. It served no purpose.
Shorty G getting drafted to Velocity. And then after an inadvertent collision between Kalisto and Dorado, it appeared chemistry issues were about to undo another Lucha victory. Oh, good, here's some of the description. Lucha victory. But Riddle was there to save the day with a crushing Bro Derek on Cesaro to get the 3 count. The win couldn't cure what ailed Lucha House Party.
No, it doesn't say that.
I haven't changed these. I promise I haven't changed these this week.
I believe you. Because no human being could write this. As Lince Dorado confronted Kalisto after the match while tensions continued to boil within the team. Ooh. I thought these guys would have split up by now. They've spent more time arguing amongst one another than having actual matches this year. But well, who cares? And then the main event, Sami Zayn defeated Jeff Hardy to retain his IC title.
I only caught half of it because that's when I got kicked out. But it's a really good main event. I thought, oh man, they're going to hotshot the belt back to Jeff, aren't they? And that'll be it. I'm optimistic about Sami Zayn now as champion. I think he's going to get a nice little run, and it was a nice little match as well.
And then we go on to the big show of the week, NXT TakeOver 31, and let's go through the matches. NXT North American champion.
Sorry. First of all, it was in the new Capitol Wrestling Center.
Beautiful looking. I prefer it to the Thunderdome. I like the slightly less bright monitors because at the Thunderdome is the audience members are really in your face because like the contrast is turned up to 1,000%, and it's very, very vibrant for want of a better word. But the faded out crowd, I think looks brilliant.
I like the commentators.
We'll get to that. You know what, mate? I'd actually forgotten about that. Thank you for reminding me. How did I forget about that? But yeah, I think they're doing what they can with what they've got, and they also let some actual fans in. And it was nice that the one rule for them all was, for God's sake, put your mask on. And as soon as Damian Priest and Gargano coming out for the first match, there were people there in the front, I think, only row with the masks off. So thanks people for...
It would have been so easy to fix as well, like, because during one of the video packages, they could have just sent somebody around just going, put your mask up. It was pretty annoying, wasn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, Damian Priest defeated Johnny Gargano. It's a Gargano match.
No,
That was a good match.
I think Damian Priest is class now.
Maffew, I know you don't like the Gargano template, but would you not agree that maybe in the first match of the night, it's all right? Because you've not seen all of the things before.
I'll get to it in a minute. Kushida defeated the Velveteen Dream. Man, he absolutely slaughtered him. I mean, you might say he torpedoed him. It was good to see.
Word.
Good to see Kushida he's back, he's getting a push, he's destroying people.
Yeah, he's
I like
great.
that
The aggressive. Jesus Christ. Go on.
What do you mean? He torpedoed him like a submarine.
Yeah.
Fire
Or
torpedoes.
torpedoed him if you're American.
That doesn't work at all. It's pretty silly. Yeah. NXT Cruiserweight Champion Santos Escobar defeated Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Really good show for Scott.
Lot of false finishes in that one. With I can't remember his name. Is it someone? Ashante the Adonis came out, helped Swerve Scott a little bit. So it's nice to see a bit of a spotlight on someone else. But then, even though I enjoyed the match, the finish was a bit weird when he hit the back of his head on the exposed thing, which I don't even know if we'd seen be exposed.
I don't remember we'd seen it exposed. I quite like the finish.
Fair enough.
Just because I can't remember having seen that before. Not on the outside of the ring. There.
True.
Worked for me.
That is true. I just think Escobar's very cool as well. Love him.
Yeah.
And NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai defeated Candice LeRae.
Yeah, it was a good match as well. All the matches were good, I think.
Yeah. And then we had the return of Toni Storm, who returned just via the computer screen like Holly from Red Dwarf. And then, wouldn't you believe it, Uber Eats are here. Oh no, wait. It's returning Ember Moon.
Poor Tony.
Yeah. Why did they do that? Why couldn't Tony have just done the same thing on Wednesday?
Yeah, I don't know. She should have done.
What was that about? You know what? And the worst thing about that is it sort of says it all that Tony came on the screen and I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. I like Toni Storm. That's great. She's in NXT and all that. And then I'm like, right, guys, because I'm live streaming at this point. I'm just going to go for a quick Jimmy piss and go and have a wee. And then I come back. And then Ember Moon's coming out. I missed the whole bloody thing because I thought that was it. I thought that was the lot. And I'm a really big Ember Moon fan as well.
Yeah,
it's
I'm very
great
excited
to see her back on NXT. First of all, because we didn't know if we were going to get her back at all because the severity of her injury was meant to be really bad. It was an Achilles thing, right?
I can't know.
I think it was an Achilles thing. And apparently, that could have been a career ender, and there were various reports circulating that it was. So it was cool for that, but more importantly, she's in NXT where she'll actually be utilised properly. I don't know if she'll be women's champion again, NXT women's champion. I don't think she needs to necessarily, but they obviously had no idea what to do with her on main roster. So yeah, it's really cool, and she's so good. The Eclipse is just insanely cool.
Yeah, nicest wrestler I've ever interviewed, I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot you talked.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
Really lovely person. She was great.
Yeah.
Well,
you know when you
nice.
ask you always ask the question like, what would your dream opponent be? And they always say like, everyone says like either Shawn Michaels or Ric Flair. That's pretty much the answer. She said she wanted to be in a intergender 6-person tag match alongside Funaki against Too Cool and someone else. And I was like, that's brilliant. That's
Not
the answer
Rikishi.
you want. Maybe Rikishi was involved. No, it was another.
Oh, it was
it was
six
another,
man, yeah.
No, I think it was like Lita or someone. It was her versus another woman and a tag team of men, and she's got Funaki and Taka in her corner.
Nice.
And I was like, brilliant. That's amazing.
a great answer. Yeah.
Such a good answer. Yeah. That's the interview where my mic was too close to my mouth, so you could just hear me breathing heavily. It's awful. So you're very good at wrestling. it was so bad, man. So bad. I had hay fever as well. I think it was in the summer, and just devastated about that.
You have hairy feet.
When you go to bed, right, do you get in the bed? And then, Speaking of sweating and heavy breathing, NXT champion Finn Balor defeated Kyle O'Reilly. Woof.
Beautiful.
Just
Beautiful segue.
25 odd minutes of two men beating the piss out of each other, bleeding from the mouth. Very impressive until revealed Finn Balor's actually sustained a broken jaw, and apparently the match was supposed to go even longer, but he went, nah, my jaw's been broken, we're going home now. I didn't even notice that until people started reporting it. This thing later on we'll talk about in NXT. Highlight of the night for me was that match.
It was probably one of the matches of the year.
Yeah.
Very, very good match. Yeah.
Overall, this reminded me again why I don't pay as much attention to NXT as I used to, because Priest, Gargano, Escobar Scott, and Ugri, Shirai, LeRae, they all had the same structure to me. They all had the same, oh my god, they're gonna cheat, or someone's gonna interfere, or there's gonna be a diddler falling from the roof or something, and then, oh, that's the end, oh, they kicked out, oh, and then the person got up, hit their finisher, oh, that's gonna be end, oh no, the other person kicked out, and then we got the finish. And wrestling's at its best when it has variety, rather like our Hall of Fame pick this week, and there's just a lack of it. When there's got 5 singles matches and they've only got 2 match structures. So, like I said, I'm not too negative. I did enjoy Kushida beating up Dream and Balor beating O'Reilly. But yeah, NXT just needs that extra thing. And maybe they'll do it at Halloween Havoc later on this month.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's on it. That's not a takeover, though, is it? That's just a standard episode of NXT, I think.
It's just on a
I think
Wednesday
it's in the
night.
middle of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a shame.
That's weird.
It is weird, isn't it? But then Starcade's a house show now, so...
Yeah.
But NXT can do variety, or they used to be able to, because my favourite takeover ever is, like many people, is New Orleans, which had a big ladder match, that Gargano Ciampa really personal main event with all the kickouts and everything, and it had Roderick Strong joining the era. That all happened on that show. It was loads of different things in a different way. So I don't think it's that they can't, it's just something's changed a little bit. It's weird.
I would agree, Jack.
I actually put this in my top 5 takeovers ever. I really, really enjoyed it. And maybe I'm just simple in that I really enjoy false finishes. Like, I find them exciting. And you're right, the structures of the matches, they didn't vary too much. But I was invested enough in the matches that the false finishes got me and they got my heart pumping. And that's, to me, that's like what being a wrestling fan's all about. Just sort of not knowing who's going to win, getting excited if your guy wins, being upset if your guy doesn't win. I don't know. I thought it was a really strong show.
Fair enough.
Oh, well, that's fine. I'm glad you enjoyed it. By the way,
Good,
I'm not
yeah.
like, if I didn't like it, you can't like it. Shut up, Pacitti.
No, of course.
No, it's,
different
of course.
strokes for different
I'll-
folks, right?
Exactly. But
Jumping
talk about your
off.
heart pumping like that. I mean, that might be the reason why you can't sleep very well. Now going to Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre confronted Randy Orton. Oh, good. Here we go. Got the copy-paste here. Monday Night Raw kicked off with The Viper, who addressed the WWE Universe from the Legends Lounge, which has capital letters, so I assume that's a real thing now, recalling his ruthless attack on the elderly WWE Legends.
Oh, no, I did change
And
that.
Christian. Yeah,
I did change that one. Elderly Legends and Christian. Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
Cool picture.
McIntyre pounced on the Apex Predator until he was pulled off by WWE officials, giving the Viper an opening to slither away. Much better
Pulled off was
lineup
in
than
there.
the situation
Pulled off was genuinely in there as well.
Yeah, the Americans don't have that expression, so they say pulled off a lot.
Bash at the Beach is a funny name as well. I remember it was in a video with Jen and she said it, and for the first time ever in my life it clicked that Bash at the Beach is a funny term. I couldn't stop laughing. She was mortified, Jen. She's like, stop it. It's not even that funny. It was funny. She
It
was
was
right.
good, Jen. Did you know, it's a fact I often forget, that they were thinking of changing the location or the name for the 1996 Bash at the Beach to The Quake at the Lake. And that would have been where the NWO formed. So The Quake at the Lake 96. Anyway, Asuka, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke defeated Zelina Vega, Natalia, and Lana, beg your pardon. And take a wild guess. You can see Raw. Who do you think took the pinfall on this?
Lana.
Right. Another guess, completely related to the first one. Who do you think then got dumped through a table for the 3rd consecutive week in a row?
Lana.
Yeah. Whose husband has been on AEW Dynamite for 4 weeks?
Lana also.
Wow, I don't know how you do it, Jack, but anyway. Drew Gulak dressed as a janitor to win the 24/7 title from R-Truth, and he later dumped it back in a dumpster where it belongs. Oh no, hang on, I mean he won it back again.
Funny
And
stuff.
then
Oh dear.
Poor Drew.
Seth Rollins and Murphy defeated Dominic Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo, the new tag team of who are currently 0-1.
Oh yeah, Korea's back, yeah.
Yeah. Murphy clobbered a mid-flight Carrillo with a knee to get the win. Very good, very impressive, by the way. Love that finish. And after the match, Rollins confronted his disciple in the backstage area, giving Murphy until 10 p.m. to apologise for his actions. Murphy didn't apologise, and even put a timer on the screen. Didn't apologise and ended up getting laid out by Rollins.
It was just
Just
another euphemism there. He confronted him in the backstage area. It just sounds...
Oh, man. This is how we're going now. And then Alia pleaded with him to stop, and Rollins retreated. Maybe to the Legends Lounge. The place in WWE Battlegrounds. Yeah, any thoughts here?
Not really. It's just going on, isn't it? It's a weird way of turning Murphy face, but...
Yeah, Rollins beats him up 4 times, and then Murphy responds once.
It could work though, couldn't it? Like not the storyline itself, but Buddy Murphy is good enough for people to cheer for. There's no crowd, is there? I don't know. I feel like this is because Seth is going to go away for a little bit soon if he the thing. And this seems, I mentioned it last week, but a bit of a passing of the torch. And once again, I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Yeah, I don't like the story that much, but it could be good for Murphy in the long run, maybe. And it's good that they're investing in him enough that, they think that he, I don't want to say he could be the next Seth Rollins, but he could take over that position maybe while Seth's away.
He could definitely do something. It's better to do it if Rollins is going away than not, I suppose. Yeah.
Well said. Bray Wyatt gave Kevin Owens a warning ahead of his battle with The Fiend, who is, of course, a SmackDown dude, so I could be a git here and go, wow, guess who's getting drafted? But I'm actually all right with them building towards stuff for the draft rather than just being a complete, fresh bit of paper to write stuff on. And then, as the Black came out and kicked him.
Are we getting... Do you think this means we're getting Drew versus Fiend for Mania?
I saw it more as Kevin going over to SmackDown. Maybe Fiend
Kevin
will go.
being...
I don't know. No, it could be either way. I agree with you, Maffew, by the way, that we do build to the fairly obvious draft picks because then the random ones feel they're more surprising because there are fewer of them. If it's a whole night of just random pick, I think that's less impactful than you seeing where a few of them are going. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, well said. And then Keith Lee and Braun Strowman's exhibition match ended in a double countout. And that's why I think Owens will go to SmackDown because he's doing sod and all on Raw. And it means Braun Strowman will come over to Raw because he's doing sod and all on SmackDown.
Is Owens a Paul Heyman guy as well?
Oh, yeah, he was high on him, wasn't he?
So maybe he wants him... I know that Paul's not in charge, but maybe he's got some influence over there and wants him over. I don't know.
Need someone to protect him from AJ Styles. And then WWE Tag Team Champion, Women's Tag Team Champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeated the Riot Squad. Is that right?
Yeah.
Some other stuff happened. But the important bit of Raw, Mustafa Ali unleashed Retribution on the Hurt Business. It was him, Austin. It was him all along.
Yeah. What, sorry?
I was just going, go on. I thought you got something to say.
So does this mean he was the hacker, or is this?
I was about to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say this. It's the one thing that everyone. It's the one thing that's dominated. It wasn't people going, "Oh my God, Ali's the leader of Retribution." It was everyone going, "Can we get clarification on the hacker thing?" Oh, piss.
Oh,
exactly,
that's dramatic.
Jack.
Exactly. Timing on that.
When was it? Was it when I swore?
It was everybody going.
Oh, right.
And then you disappear.
I went, is it everybody going, oh, piss? 'Cause I thought,
No, we missed the piss.
no, it was everybody going, can we just get clarification on the hacker thing, please? And I don't know, we've not had it yet. We've not had clarification.
No, unless he's done something on social media that I've not seen. No.
Okay.
I've not seen it, but Jack, I'm with you because I almost thought in my head, people going, but was he the hacker? I went, no, he can't be that because you went on Twitter and said it wasn't him. And then the thought occurred to me, he could have lied. The bastard.
Not the stuff Ali. Not Ali. He wouldn't have lied.
Oh, man, you can't trust anybody nowadays, can you?
I'm going to put a bet on now that £5 if anyone wants to take me up on it, that Ali is going to make this work and they're going to get over. Because Maffew, you up for a little wager?
Yes, but I'll say this to all the young diddlers watching: bet responsibly.
This isn't a responsible bet. Well, you're not betting responsibly here because I agree with Adam. I think Ali could make it work.
You don't have to take the bet.
No, wait. What do we mean can make it work?
Will get over and be
it?
enjoyable to watch in the short term.
That's subjective.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Because then every week you can come on here and go, I like Retribution. I know Dave Meltzer gave it -5 stars, but I give it +5 stars.
Screw him. What criteria would you assign to it then?
I'll let it go. Winning a title.
Winning a
Ali
title.
has to be...
Win a title
win US title off Bobby Lashley. I think you've done yourself in there. I think you'll beat it with the help of Retribution because they're going against the Hurt Business.
In a month.
By when? By Mania. Oh, in a month.
By Mania.
Bloody hell, mate. We'll be dead by then.
By or at Survivor Series.
Deal.
Yes, all right. It's on.
If he gets a title match,
£5
is it any,
English pounds.
You've got to win it. Got to win the title.
Is it any
title,
title or is it just the US? It could be any title.
I'm saying this, any title.
24/7, 24/7, 24/7.
No, 24/7. No.
No,
Actually, that would be
any
the funny
proper
to get over
title.
with that.
If he gets a title match, that's going to be a tense watch. That's going to be real drama. That's going to be
I'm
great.
up for that. Yeah, I think he's going to make it work because, well, you remember back to the promos that he was doing on SmackDown out in the snow when he was back on SmackDown, a year and a bit ago. They were really good, and he sort of just did them off his own back, and he said that he didn't really have any help from writers or anything. He can just make stuff work. I guess the problem is if they give him that creative freedom. I'm optimistic. £5.
Yeah. Next week on Raw, he comes out in a suit. I don't owe any of you an explanation. Yeah. See, this is what we do here, Cultaholic, and me and Life from Wrestling. If it's not that much good, we'll make our own fun. £5. I'll bring it in next week. Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode defeated Drew McIntyre and the Street Profits. I'm not interested in the match, but I'm interested to read the description. The WWE Champion had the Viper in his sights for a Claymore until Robert Roode forced him to take his eyes off Randy Orton. McIntyre dropped Roode with a Claymore, but he turned round into an RKO that gave Orton an all-important victory heading into their WWE title match at Hell in a Cell,
Momentum.
October 25th.
Big momentum win.
# building momentum.
So this shouldn't have. The main event should have been the Retribution segment, or the main segment should have been that one. Surely.
They can't have all the things. They can't have Bobby Lashley win. No, that's not right. Mustafa Ali win that, whatever bet we said. I've already forgotten it. It's a shame, though. I think they did the Ali thing so we can try and ignore the fact that we are getting Orton versus Drew in Hell in a Cell. No interest in it at all.
They've wrestled one too many. Well, not just one too many. They've wrestled several too many times, haven't they?
Yeah.
AEW Dynamite. The FTW Championship match. Will Hobbs versus Brian Cage. Cage wins. Just normal. After the match, Taz said either Hobbs can join Team Taz or take a beating. And I picked option C, which is Darby Allin making the save with his skateboard.
Now, I'm glad they made Hobbs look good, but because he looked good in defeat. But we criticised WWE for it. It's kind of got to criticise AEW as well. I think Darby and Team Taz, their feud's gone on for too long. Like, Darby's beating Ricky Starks now. I kind of wanted that to be the end of it. But Taz every week will be like, you'll get yours, Darby! And, it's happened again. So I don't know. And also, Darby's run-in was almost like a Kevin Nash run-in. He was so lazy.
Well, did he do? I've not seen Dynamite this week.
His music hits, and normally when his music hits for making the save, he either skates down or like just flies down the the ramp. And he just walked out with his board, got in the ring, and he's looking at Starks and Taz, and they both just go, no. And they get out of the ring. And I'm like, it's Darby Allin, and there's two of you, and one of you's huge.
But he's got a skateboard. Do you remember getting trucked?
Yeah. So then he just kind of, and he doesn't even like wield it at them or anything. He just kind of goes like, yeah, you better run. And it was very lazy. It was weird. Very straight. It seemed like, I described it on Graded as, it seemed like both he and his opponents were sick of this feud as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I vote like that, Jack.
The match was decent, though. The match was decent.
That is good. It's like, like, you and one army, Will Hobbs, and then, Darby Allin on the skateboard. Should have pushed him over and gone, all right, well, guess we're going to keep getting him. AEW Tag Team Championship match. The Hybrid 2 versus FTR. FTR wins with a sweet superplex splash combo. Do you know which tag team used to do this in WWF?
Oh, I almost said Power and Glory there.
And you'd be right. To one up the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks kick the cameraman backstage after watching the camera like this behind their shoulders, which I guess was another jab at that WWE company that you may have heard of. And then FTR appear as hot dogs on the Tron. And FTR versus Best Friends set up next week. A lot happening here. I know that you love Jack Evans, Jack.
Oh, do I?
I thought you did, didn't you? I thought you big up on Jack.
I think he's been around for a long time, hasn't he? And he does loads of flips. Not particularly. I don't mind him. Yeah, why not? Yeah, love Jack Evans. Yeah. But he was a bit ragged here. He was a little bit sloppy here at times. I also really didn't like the bit where, like, a minute into the match, FTR go and do their heel, we're walking out, give us the belts, we're leaving. Well, that's not what FTR would do. I didn't think that was very in character. you know what? I didn't like this segment either, really, because I don't like the classic WWE style Photoshop gag. It never does it for me. Yeah. Apart from Jericho saying that Benoit's going to fight him on a boat and all that. That was a good one. But that's the only good one I can ever think of.
Yeah. This is the one match that I saw, because I like FTR matches a lot. You know what? I didn't actually pick up on that. Oh, we're getting out of here, sort of thing. But yeah, that's totally not what it's about. Like the whole concept of the match is giving people a chance and then beating them in 20 minutes. Yeah. I didn't pick up on that at the time. And yeah, the hot dog thing, I don't know who finds that funny, but it wasn't me. They're cool enough without that bollocks.
Best friends, yeah.
Don't need to be doing that.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why is
you
it?
Weenies.
Because Orange Cassidy called them weenies last week. Yeah.
Of course he did. Yeah. Right.
So but then they came out and Trent went, if you don't understand why, it's because you're weenies. And Michael Hamflet from What Culture tweeted saying, just because your joke's crap, explaining that it's crap doesn't make it good. And I replied saying, I've been doing that for about 5 years and it's been all right for me. So.
You need to start saying weenie more.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And it's even worse when it's done so po-faced in AEW when they're like, weenies, it's a bad joke, we told you it's a bad joke, buy the t-shirt. It's like, okay, I get you. So yeah, still like FTR and some of these tag teams, but we'll move on, shall we? Because we're the positive podcast.
I think that the thing is that they're building, because they did the finisher and Jim Ross made a big deal of it being like, oh, that's a not a nod in the direction of, but that's them calling out the Young Bucks. Oh. So we know it's going to end there. So every other team that faces them sort of maybe doesn't, you can't get too excited about it because it's all building to the Bucks.
I'm surprised, Pacitti, I'll just say this, that they're having them as tag title matches every week. You have to earn it or something. But anyway, what were you saying, Jack?
Well, the Hybrid 2 won matches on Dark, apparently, but yeah. But I think that JR just went rogue a bit when he said that. I think he was trying to be clever.
He hammered it home, though. He said it a few times, I think.
He did, but they do that move in a lot of matches, and he's never once... maybe it's because they finished the match with it, but when he said it, Excalibur, I think, just jumped on it to try and agree with him, and they just invented it. That's what I thought anyway. You might be right, but I took it as JR saying it, and then Excalibur backing him up to make it seem real. But I don't actually know. But when have the Young Bucks ever done just a simple splash?
Yeah, they
do. It's got to be at least a 450 or something. Yeah. I don't know. You might well be right. I don't know.
I think Jim Ross is at this point now. It's just that granddad who says things that are completely untrue. Like, oh, we all know the Earth's flat, and yet they do, and you're like, that's right, granddad. You're so right, you know. Jim Ross actually got a good line in this when he described Jack Evans as a little dog that has been bred on a diet of Mountain Dew. And that was good. It almost made up for the fact that he forgot Ricky Stark's name 3 seconds into AEW.
That was deliberate, I think.
I couldn't tell because he went, it's Ricky, whatever your name is. And then he went, yeah, he's a great up-and-comer. Let's put him over after forgetting his name. I went,
I think he was trying to be funny. He called him Ricky Skaggs, who I Googled, and is apparently a famous bluegrass and country musician.
Oh, for God.
But that resonates with the audience.
But I don't know that. Yeah,
What a weenie.
That brings us to one of the reasons to watch this show. The dog collar match for the TNT title. Cody versus Mr. Brodie Lee. Brilliant and bloody, it says here, and I agree. After the match, Cody cuts a promo about how everyone thought he might be bad, but he's definitely not. He's just dyed his hair, or undyed his hair, I guess, and he's a lovely chap. Orange Cassidy versus Cody is next week for the belt. So, match first of all.
The match was amazing, though. I really liked it a lot. I liked the... First of all, I was sat there watching it thinking, how long before someone bleeds? And then John Silver gets knocked off the apron and comes up pouring with blood. I was like, that's 2 seconds into the match.
From one shot.
There were so many things that Cody puts in his matches that more often than not pay off as storytelling. He's very, very good at putting matches together, especially when he's the face. And Greg Valentine was in the crowd as well. Just sat there looking
thrilled.
Greg Valentine. So when we've all been to WrestleCon or whatever, Greg Valentine's at all of them and always looks like the most miserable. And he's just sat there, and immediately after this big moment, it's the big finish, and they cut straight away to Greg Valentine going.
You're like every chip shop woman in Bishop Auckland. Johnny Scraps for the dog hen.
But there was loads of good moments, though. I loved the RKO when he pulled him off the apron into the cutter. That was class. And And even it was all silly and overblown and ridiculous, like Brodie Lee kicking out of one and stuff like that. But it was still, I really, really enjoyed it. Did you also enjoy it, Maffew? Or have you seen it yet, Adam?
No, I didn't. I've seen the backlash online because I covered it in the news today, and
I've
seen clips of it. I've seen all the blood, and I've seen GIFs and all that, but I haven't watched the full thing. I don't know why I chose the FTR match over that one to watch.
Is this the backlash over
Cody winning? Like Brodie being a transitional champion, but I would argue that it's really elevated Brodie, regardless of the loss. And it's, you know what, people were having a go because it wasn't on pay-per-view. It's a TV title, isn't it? That's where it gets defended, right? It's the TNT Championship.
Yeah.
So
And do you
I
not
think it's fine to pay off there.
And do you not reckon that it was a bit of a last minute call to give Brodie the belt anyway because Cody had to go and film this reality show?
Yeah,
this
probably.
game show. Yeah. So then it's better for him to have been absolutely squashed then because it makes Brodie look great.
Yep.
I think it's. I've not got a problem with it.
If Cody had come back and squashed him, I'd understand the criticism a lot more, but that didn't happen.
No, Arn Anderson got a spine buster in as well.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Putting the spine on the pine.
Alex Reynolds, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to wait and see where it goes. Because, right now it's like, given building momentum, as we were saying beforehand, him killing Cody was awesome. And some people think it takes away from that, like Cody would get his heat back on the company he, co-made. And it is kind of funny right now. It's like, oh no, I lost to Brodie Lee because, I need to go film a show, don't I? Oh, well, show's been done filming. I'm back. Hello, belt. Did you miss me? But we'll see where it goes. I enjoyed the match regardless, and it was certainly better than, the never-ending story of Colt Cabana and Brodie Lee. Will they get together? Will they win a match? Will they... whatever. So... and that's that. Big Swole versus Serena Deeb.
Colt's in that tournament now. He might win.
What did he do to get that?
No idea.
The sympathy vote. The unseeded one. Serena Deeb. Big Swole defeated Serena Deeb with a rolling elbow.
I saw you giving big praise to this, to Serena Deeb. Was she good in this?
Me?
Yeah, she's a great wrestler, obviously.
Just the first opening minutes of it, she was just tying Big Swole in knots and rolling all around the ring with her, and I was like, she's so good. The match itself, the crowd were really dead after that dog collar match. But Serena Deeb's phenomenal. She's great.
I imagine Greg the Hammer Valentine was bringing a lot of energy to the room, so once he gone...
Well, he was getting the cat excited. He was up there going, yeah, he's loving it.
Yeah, he was on Twitter going, this should be on pay-per-view. Just bollocks. And the main event, 30 years in the making. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Dr. Luther and Serpentico. Of course, look, it's a 30-year anniversary match for Chris Jericho. I'll allow it. I mean, what is wrestling if you can't wrestle your mates on TV? It is
in
funny,
the main event. No, it's fine. It's
right.
fine.
But it's funny, they are like, Dr. Luther, he did so much stuff in Japan. And you're like, he didn't. Not really. I'm sorry. He's not even a household name in his own house, Dr. Luther. But he's Jericho's mate. And he can wrestle his mate 30. That's absolutely fine. If it's
Bobby Heenan. He's not even a household name in his own house. Will you stop?
Good line though. So Jericho picks up the win with the Judas effect, and after the match, Jericho starts talking, but is cut off by MGF, who unveils Clownico Le Clown. And I thought it was going to be Frank the Clown for a few seconds. I went, no, get away. But no, it was a different clown. Give Jericho a frame picture of MGF, which Jericho then smashes over the head of the clown.
MDF.
I was hoping no one picked up on that. Of the MDF, that was the frame it was made of, MDF. Nice. Jericho says he hates clowns, chastises MJF, but it's just a rib, and the two high-five and hug as all the baddies come out to celebrate Jericho's 30-year career, while Saturday Night Live style critics were all critiquing Jericho for everything.
Which was really funny. I just saw the end here. I've seen everything from the clown unveiling onwards, and it was like those credits when it's a joke that's been done before, like so many times. The whole credits and the some fool taking responsibility for everything. But when they're celebrating and they're working the hard cam with massive smiles on their faces, pleased as punch. It was really fun. It got me giggling.
Yeah. Well said, and I like the fact that Jericho has a book with, apparently, every single match he's ever had listed. That's the Jericho book coming out. Hopefully it'll be good and worth a read.
Oh, wait, he's actually flogging it. I thought you just meant he kept a diary.
No, the actual book coming out.
Wow. And what, and he dissects each match?
I don't know if he dissects it, because I imagine if I'm him, I'm going, I don't really remember this at all, like several times, but we'll see. I mean, someone else can review it. We could tell each other.
Because if he's just releasing a list of matches, that's just cagematch.net, isn't it?
Maybe
copy paste.
Maybe he talks about some of them in more depth. Maybe there's like significant ones.
That sounds fascinating, though.
You'd like to think, anyway.
Yeah.
I really like how they're drawing on other, because I was getting real Festival of Friendship vibes from this, with Jericho in the Owens role and MJF in the Jericho role, because there was Friendship the Clown as well, wasn't there, at the Festival of Friendship?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then the frame picture, it's like The Rock and the Nation, and then there's, I won't say who it is because it's a bit of a spoiler if it turns out to be true, but I've seen people suggesting online that there could be a mole in the inner circle as well for MJF, which is really good as well. So, I know. Who's going to be the face when it all kicks off? Jericho's got to be the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got to lose as well.
I guess
it's fine.
I'm looking forward to it. But you've said that and remind me about the Nation bit. It's not that bit, but it's another episode of Raw when Farouk's wrestling in the ring and Rock's at ringside in the Nation. And he holds up one of the giant pictures of, and so it blocks the match. That's remember that. It's the image that made me laugh. So AEW Dynamite, some good stuff, some bad stuff. Has anyone else noticed this? I'm not sure if it's been brought up on the podcast or not. The commentators talk over Judas now.
Oh.
Like, even the bits, not all, like, maybe they have to talk over the entire song, but, like, they definitely talk over the bit where, what have I become? The bit that Sam used to sing along to, and it cuts to the crowd singing it. And Jim Ross is like, well, Terry Funk one time gave me a blumpkin, or whatever that's on his mind. And I can't believe that they're doing that. It's very surprising.
Yeah, maybe they think they've got the mileage out of it, and that you can only do that for so long. But yeah, I hadn't noticed it.
Anyway, NXT, we did notice. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Kushida via DQ. Velveteen Dream cut their battle short trying to take out Kushida. However, Sorry, no, I have to read this. However, he errantly struck Ciampa instead. Bloody hell. Ending the match via disqualification. Dream gets pummeled on the outside and retreats.
That feud doesn't need to continue. Kushida beat him so clean.
Yeah, battered him.
Torpedoed him.
That's what I said, thank you. Killian Dane and Drake Maverick defeat Ever Rise.
Hilarious. The entrance
every other tag team
got me giggling so much. That entrance, the music is so funny. It's so like royalty-free, silly bollocks music. And I normally the original Odd Couple thing in wrestling sort of doesn't do that much for me because we're seeing a lot of thrown together tag teams, but these guys are like they're just really funny together, aren't they? I want to root for them, and I like the fact that like essentially Damo's like he's going to be the big brute for a while and get fed up, and the finish was in power bombing Spud. I'm using their bloody stupid British names there. And getting the win that way, but eventually he's going to turn and he's going to start liking Spud for a bit. And that I think there's going to be decent comedy from those two because they're two that really get the comedy as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's a good question. What is your preferred method for cooking a potato?
Oh, that is a good question.
Chips,
in a way,
boiling them, jacket potato, hash brown.
Love a hash brown.
Depends on my mood, but I'll go for classic roast potato.
Oh yeah, goose fat.
Roast. Ooh.
Nice. Lumpy mash or smooth?
Oh, because Spud. Right, I totally had no idea where this was going. I had no clue. Right.
It was the most intentional derailing.
Yeah.
I think we've had in a while.
I thought he was then going to come back with a retort, like we say an answer and he goes, but no.
Well, I've actually got an app that tells me that I've been talking about wrestling too much, and so we're losing the core audience of Cultaholic who needs silly bollocks. So I would say boiled right now because you get the boiled and it's all right, but then you get boiled and you get just a little bit of butter. It melts like the adverts. It's like the ice caps melting on this mountain of potato. My potato's a bit silly.
It's been so long since I've had a jacket potato with beans and a bit of cheese melted on.
I had that this weekend.
Did you?
It was amazing. Oh,
it's been so long since I've had that.
And I bothered with the oven as well. Sometimes I just microwave the potato.
It's best when you cook it, isn't it?
Crispy
that crispy skin.
Rub the legs. Austin Theory defeated Leon Ruff. And then Dexter Lumis defeated Austin Theory. What? Really?
Yeah, he wrestled
Theory?
twice.
Yeah. All right. Theory disposed of Leon Ruff in short order before issuing another open challenge. only to find the returning Dexter Lumis answering the call. Lumis beats him after a decent match, then gets attacked by Cameron Grimes.
I'm glad he recovered from his injury, because it was nasty.
It didn't feel like he'd been away for too long. How
No,
long
it didn't. It really didn't. Yeah.
Good for him. I love him.
And speaking of injuries, sadly, Ridge Holland defeated Danny Burch. Now, Ridge Holland appeared at the very end of NXT TakeOver. It's like, wow, he's getting a big push. He destroyed Adam Cole and was like, coming for you next, me lad. And had this match here, Danny Burch. Went all right, beat the governor quite offensively. And then Wonnie Lorcan came out to help. Gave him a dive over the ropes, caught him, rabble, did another one. And his leg just buckled. And you could hear the screams. And it's like, And why is this? It's because life is cruel. Life often gets in the way of wrestling storylines and ruins things. So, horrible news for Ridge Holland. As of the time of this video, we still don't know what the exact details are, but it looked bad.
It looked like a broken ankle is what people are saying.
Right.
They've had no luck recently, NXT, with Tegan Knox again, and Karrion Kross, and now Ridge Holland, and it's just been
Finn as well
bad.
now, with the broken
Finn
jaw.
with the broken jaw,
Can't even talk at the moment, apparently.
Oh, really? Oof.
Yeah.
Wouldn't fancy a broken jaw.
No? Surprises me, Jack.
Yeah.
You're more of a roasty type, that's fine. Shotzi Blackheart defeated Xia Li. Shotzi came away with another win as the host of the upcoming NXT Halloween Havoc. He put her away after a top rope senton. Afterwards, Boa arrived to offer Lee an envelope. Lee appeared as confused as the NXT universe likely was. Okay, fantastic.
And Maffew likely is.
Reading this sentence on a high note. Oops, that's not how you do it. And then Ember Moon and Rhea Ripley defeated Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Early in the night, Moon cuts a promo, interrupted by Io. Then Rhea, that's what it says here, gets attacked by Dakota and Raquel. In capital letters, Pandemonium. Regal sets up a tag match later on the night, and Moon picks up the win for a team with the Eclipse.
Good stuff.
That was a lot of writing. Was Bruce Pritchard moonlighting on this show? Anyway. Cool. Any other thoughts on NXT?
I feel like NXT are maybe on the cusp of starting to improve again, but we'll see.
It'll be interesting to see how they fare with the draft coming up, because you got to imagine that Candice and Johnny will go main roster. A few other. Maybe, you know what? Now I actually think, and as awful as this is to say, right? If they're going to do the Undisputed Era call-up, it's probably the time now, even though they just started setting up the storyline with Ridge. If it's a broken ankle, he's not going to be back anytime soon. And it's probably better to do it now, isn't it? It worries me putting them on the main roster and everything. But also, before they split up, because they've been all the rumours of like Fish and Strong going and being heels and Kyle and Adam not. I'd actually prefer them to be a unit, like all on the same page when they make the jump to the main roster and then get buried.
They're going to get so buried.
Yes.
They're too short, unfortunately.
Buried again. Remember that when they came over? And they went, this isn't working, and brought back on NXT.
With Cole and Champ, with Ciampa and Gargano,
Yeah. And everyone else on the crowd went, wait, hang on, these guys have been feuding with each other for about 2 years. Why? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Undo.
Let's be optimistic. Ricochet's doing just great.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
Hey,
so sad seeing
Alistair
him
Black's
tweet.
doing all right.
Not really.
He's got a funny eye.
It's great. It's got Lars Sullivan, man. Everyone's talking about him. That was the week of wrestling.
Let's have a rummage in our mailbags.
Now it's time to have a little look in the mailbag. Hello, lads. I recently picked up Pokemon Go again after listening to Adam talk about how much he's enjoying it. I forgot how fun it was, and I thank Adam for reminding me so. With that, the question I have for you guys is which personality, wrestling or otherwise, influences you the most? The influence could be their style, their interest in pop culture, or even their political leanings, among others. Thanks for all you've done these past 5 years. Hope your day goes well. Ninad from India. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Ninad.
Cheers.
Appreciate the question. That's a good one, though. Any people in wrestling or otherwise that, influences you?
Whew.
So just to get this across here, I am the influencer or inspiration, if you would rather, in that situation with the Pokemon Go thing, which I've actually not played in about a week. I hope you're having fun with it. So only because I've not been out of the house much. I've got one because I put these questions together.
Go on.
Mine, it sort of covers wrestling, but I guess more so like performance art and it's Andy Kaufman. Because like all of the comedy that I really love now, with Sacha Baron Cohen coming back, Nathan Fielder, Mark Wootton, they all have like elements of Kaufman's style in their comedy, and I love everything that he does. And essentially, I've been thinking like if I were to go and do something else, and there's no plans to or anything like that, if Cultaholic were to end tomorrow and the WWE copyright striked all of our videos or something like that, please don't. Then I'd like to find a way of monetizing that sort of trolling that Andy Kaufman did, but in a sort of digital sense. And I haven't quite figured that. I've had a few ideas that I'd like to do down the line with just like little projects. And like the Girl of My Dreams thing especially was just meant to be a little troll job and maybe make me a little bit of cash. But I'd like to, find a way of bothering people for money. People that deserve it. Not in a nasty way. I don't want to be a troll. I don't want to upset anyone. I like winding people up. Andy Kaufman is mine.
He is. When quite recently, actually, in the past few years or so, I didn't really know anything about him bar the Lawler stuff. But since then, I learned a bit about him and watched that Jim Carrey documentary, which reflects quite badly on Jim Carrey, I feel.
Yeah.
When he's
the making of the Man in the Moon one, yeah.
Well, you feel like he just didn't get it at all, because nothing against Jim Carrey, but apparently Andy Kaufman was well smartened up to the fact that wrestling wasn't real. And that he was part of, like, he was the perfect person for it, because he was good at tricking people.
Yeah.
Whereas Jim Carrey decided to portray that as he hates Jerry Lawler. And it was weird. It was a weird...
I was watching a Jerry Lawler interview it was the week following the death of Andy Kaufman. And he, despite the fact that Lawler is the baby face in Memphis at this time, of course. And they ask him, could you give a comment on the death of Andy Kaufman? And he's like, I'm not the person to ask, because I didn't like Andy Kaufman. And he kept it up, and that's exactly what Andy would have wanted. This goes against the whole kayfabe. Me saying, I want to troll people in a bit and mislead them. I've just laid out my plans here when Cultaholic goes away. But...
when I was learning a bit more about him, he seemed like a proper like a bit of a genius in a way. Like, it was like the art of making people think that you're the stupid one, but you're the knowing one. It's weird. Yeah. Strange.
I think Andy Kaufman, like to most, he wasn't particularly bothered if no one got it. And I think as I've tried to do some Kaufman style, like when you make something intentionally bad, like he had that thing that's in Man the Moon when he would make it look like his broadcast was having transmission errors. So people go up to TVs and waggle the knobs and going, what's wrong with it? And he's going, there's nothing wrong with it. It's in the TV. And even the guy there in the film's like, why is that funny? He's like, it is, it's funny. And I've done that plenty of times. And it's just, but now we have like, YouTube and people that see reacting and telling you, no, I don't get it. And I've explained it to me. I hate it. Kaufman even did, and again, show him on the Moon, he would read like he'd come out and do stuff like, do the bit. All right, cool. Reaching tie a Great Gatsby on stage until everybody leaves. It's like there's two people there.
As long as he was having fun, that's all he wanted.
Right, that I had like, wow, fair play to you, mate. So I'm going to say Andy Kaufman for me, but I'm still going to think in terms of doing Cultaholic. And this is going to sound sappy, but I'm being genuine, and sometimes I need to preface this because I've got such a toneless mouth. Jack is someone I've looked at. Jack and Ross is someone who's influenced me on how to talk. because when I started this, and I've said this many times before, I just started this and I'm like, well, I have no experience. I didn't go to podcasting school, so I'm just going to be me, an exaggerated version of myself. It turned out that isn't what people want from this. They need people who can actually listen to criticism, slow down when they talk, emote, trying to engage the audience rather than just rambling like a drunk at a bus stop. And so I watch Ross and Jack in particular because I'll never have Pacitti's charisma and just oil slick delivery of things. But Ross and Jack, I'm like, oh God, they're human. Okay, I can at least try to be them. So I would say
I like the fact that you're bigging up Jack and burying me in the process here. As if I'm not human. Sorry, carry on.
Well, it's all a joke because Andy Kaufman
exactly.
fave. There we go, Kaufman fave. And so, yeah, and I think there's times when I err from that and people go, do you really hate Jack? I go, no. It looks like you do. I'm like, oh, Christ. So I'd like to say Jack and Ross just for the podcasting thing because...
Oh, fair enough.
I mean...
Thank you, man.
Jack, who's influenced you?
Say Maffew.
Maffew, first of all.
Shut up.
I don't know. I'm not really one for... I haven't got like one particular like comedian or musician or someone who I'm like, oh, they're the one. They're my favourite one. I feel like when you're growing up, you're more influenced by your mates, and that's what influences like what you're into and how you dress and what you listen to and all that sort of thing. And then when you get a bit older, I really don't know. It's a very hard question. In terms of presenting and stuff in my job, I think a lot of that came from looking at well, I always say this.
Amazing.
What got me back in
looking at.
So the best delivery on the show is from the timeout.
Twice
Oh,
there.
man.
Got it. The key. A lot of that came from is where we got to.
A lot of that, presenting and stuff. A lot of that came from looking at what first got me back into wrestling, which I've mentioned before, was actually Maffew, Botchamania, and OSW review. And I just sort of thought, don't be afraid to laugh at something. And I think that helped a lot. So I think the way that if something's bad, don't get angry about it. Like, just laugh at it. And I think that really was a big turning point for presenting. So weirdly enough, I'll go for Maffew. Right back at him. There he is.
Oh, no, this has rebounded horribly. I can only give compliments. I hate giving them. Also, shout-outs to Tom, because he's from a different division of what we're doing. We're playing checkers. He's playing chess because he's been doing radio for decades.
Tom's an actual presenter. Like, it's crazy.
Right.
He's an actual one.
Are there any Twitter people that inspire you or encourage you?
God, no. Not on Twitter. Christ.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of anyone, no.
Because there's loads of people on there who were incredibly funny and well versed in what they do and typing out a lot of complicated stuff.
Yeah.
Trevor Dame, I want to say, he covers a lot of news and he just types in the people that are able to take huge, complicated things and summarize it into a tweet, I really appreciate, because there's many things happening in wrestling. I go, what? And as soon as an analogy or metaphor comes in, I'm like, oh, I get it now. Cheers, mate.
Oh, I've got one actually on Twitter. A guy that I've never met, but he's ridiculously funny. He's just so dry, and he does a podcast called Shane's Brilliant Podcast. Shane Clifford, his name is, and nobody will know him. But go and look at his tweets because he's just ridiculously funny. And he's got a bit of an Andy Kaufman style to him. He does stuff which isn't like laugh out loud funny necessarily, but you realise that he's having a lot of fun with it, perhaps, and then it becomes funny. And he's very self-deprecating and he's great.
Oh, I'll tell you who as well. Not in terms of influencers, because this is more recent. Like, they're kind of doing it at the same time as us. It's not like they've been doing it before us. But I really enjoy the YouTubers, the Zach and Jay show, who have some balls on them. Those lads, like, they sneak into events and stuff and just blag it and pretend that they're meant to be there. Really good. And come up with a lot of good ideas. Like, you know that those villages in Derby that have that once a year massive ball game where the whole village goes in a scrum and tries to like push the ball to the mill at the end of the village. They like take part in weird, quirky things around the world like that, like weird sporting events and stuff. Their content's so unique and so brilliant that I get quite jealous of it. I'm like, you bastard. And Max Fosh as well, who recently tried to find a winner of Takeshi's Castle and got a decent video series out of that. It's pretty inventive.
I saw that. It was great.
Really good. Yeah, really good. So there's a lot of people out there doing things where I think, how are you that creative? And it's very annoying. But it's also quite an influence as well, because it starts getting you thinking, well, how can I do that through the lens of what I do? So it's quite good in a way as well.
Yeah, lots of good YouTubers out there. I started getting into other things other than wrestling and stuff. I'll be quick. Like Josh Revel, who does lots of crazy F1 stuff, but the way he does it, the videos are very entertaining, even though I don't know that much about F1.
Oh, I do. What's he called?
Josh Revel, Revell. Yeah, I think you'll like his videos, actually.
Cheers.
So. Anyway, we'll move on to talk about how great other people are. TopeCon, something, diddle, etc. Yes, that's pretty much how these are going at the minute, these introductions. You all seem to enjoy my question from 2 weeks ago when I had you choose wrestlers' tattoos for each other. I didn't. I blacked out temporarily and thought that Goldberg had Goldberg on his stomach because I got him confused with Perry Saturn. Good job wasn't recorded to put a podcast anyone listens to. So I figured I would give you a similar question. Oh, God, I'm already dreading it. Let's say the three of you got booked to make your professional wrestling debut at WrestleMania, and there will be a crowd. Uh-oh. The only catch is your mates get to choose what song you come out to. So that leads me to my question today. What entrance songs would you choose for the other members of the podcast to debut to? They don't have to be wrestling themes. Oh, good. Just whatever song you feel fits the person best. So Maffew chooses a song for Jack and then one for Adam. Jack chooses one for Maffew. As always, thank you for all you do. I genuinely look forward to the podcast every Friday. It's always a great way to finish off my week. Wishing you the best like always. Trevor from Ohio, in brackets, said like the New Japan crowd. Well,
Thank you,
Trevor, Ohio from me and everybody else here. Very much appreciate the love and the question.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers.
Okay.
So I've had to think about mine, so I can go first if you want.
Is it rotten these? You tell we set the bloody questions up. Okay. Go on then, you go first while we think.
So like, let's assume there's a big like open challenge or something. John Cena's got the WWE title back. No man is big enough to step up to Cena's challenge. You want some? Come get some. And then all of a sudden, Jack the Jobber's name comes up on the screen. Record scratch. Kinky boots. I love it when you wear my kinky boots.
Back to my roots with my kinky boots. Oh, what a tune.
Escorted, accompanied by, what was her name? Vulva.
Nonna.
No, what's it? Nona.
Nonna, yeah.
Nona, and Daz Sampson. Jack comes to the ring. Everybody is
Kinky
gutted
boots.
because you've done the CM Punk tease, obviously. And then he's there with his kinkiest boots on.
Like a player on the pitch, I'm a sexy bitch, I'm going to strut my stuff for you. What a tune.
For Maffew, 1,000 men, bearded, come out with wobble boards, and they start. No, I'm joking. John Cena's in the ring. He's back. He's the following year's WrestleMania. He's still the WWE champion.
He beat me.
Oh yeah, clean. Despite interference from Vulva and Daz Sampson.
No, not Vulva.
Vulva, yeah, why can I say Vulva?
I can't remember the name. So he's there. He's open challenge, WWE title. No man's big enough to step up to the challenge. What did I say? You want some? Come get some. And then... Oh, and everybody's thinking this year it's got to be CM Punk, surely. Record scratch. We get it almost every night when the moon is big and bright. The original, not the re-release with a remixed version this year, because it's the lamest song ever. I love the song. I love it. Of course I do.
Great
It's
song.
I can't think of a more middle of the road song than Top Loaders dancing in the moonlight, and it's you coming down. Top Loader are playing live if you fancy it, but I thought that'd be a nice. It's better than Rolf Harris, isn't it?
Now,
Oh, that's where you're going with that, right?
Who else has wobble boards?
but if the purpose of that, it would work for me. I would be the most hated heel in existence. But if the purpose was to get heat for Maffew, WrestleMania, a lot of English people go to WrestleMania. English people love two things and two things only: Botchamania and Top Loaders dancing in the moonlight. So the combination of the two, everyone will be wanting Maffew to wipe the floor with John after that.
Yeah,
Just so they could hear Top Loader again.
That's the song of like any British barbecue. Like it's so good. Is it a crap a bit as well?
Yeah.
Or is it just good?
I didn't know it was a cover.
Oh, no.
Oddly enough, the Spotify threw up the original the other day. Top Loaders is better.
It's not as
I would
good.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
It's
that
one of the
scene.
songs. Sorry, go on.
Just love that scene in Four Lions when they're on their way down to London to like do what they're gonna do, and they're already tense, and then it just cuts to them because Dancing in the Moonlight's come on. They're all like dancing. It just sums up what the song's like. It's brilliant.
It's weird how that songs come on, they annoy the hell out of you, and then you don't hear them for 3 years, and it comes on at 3 a.m. at Rise, and we get it all every night. Oh, fantastic, yes. So, well done again for your amazing forward booking skills, Pacitti. Not only this fantasy world that you live in, you've booked not just 1 year ahead of WrestleMania, but 2 years ahead of WrestleMania. Fantastic.
Punk comes out the following year. There you go.
Yeah, but no one cares.
But it's
about
actually
it.
Ross this time.
Oh, it's actually CM Punk. Oh. Right, I'll go with, for you,
Who?
I don't think you need a tease or a build-up. I
Which
think
one?
Pacitti, sorry. Okay. Pacitti, pronouns, pal. Pacitti, let's just play the song and then wait and see what happens. And that's your big entrance. And it'll be, obviously people will either have songs that fit them or they need to build them up with the ruthless aggression that we expect. So I would have War, Why Can't We Be Friends?
Oh, that's lovely.
Because then, if you come out and they don't know who you are, it's still like me coming out the freeloader. It's just like the crowd go, why can't we be friends? Why can't free? Oh, it's not freeloader, is it? Sorry.
Top loader. Yeah, you can't boo somebody to that song. I'm a good. Oh, go on, everybody. Why can't we? Yeah, that's a lovely
booing
song.
You, and they're going like, oh, boo. And goes, hang on, everybody. Why can't we be friends? Ooh, ooh, ooh. There you go.
Over like Rover.
Yeah, and for Jack, it's very simple. I can't think of anything else. Just that 10-second loop of interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater.
What's this?
What is?
You haven't heard that? Oh, for God's sake. All right, well, never mind then.
What is it?
I forget the name of the rapper, but it became this guy did this freestyle rap on the radio. But the very last bit came on, and it was so out there that people like to do that one loop. I get it. I forget. I'm
sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, you know what?
Sorry.
Let's just pretend that didn't happen. Okay. For Jack. Oh, in that case.
Oingo Boingo, Little Girls. That's a nice song.
The most embarrassing one you could possibly choose would be my actual theme from WCPW.
Oh! Yeah.
The 1, 2, 3 kid. That's me. Oh.
Is that the lyrics?
Is that one of the lyrics?
The verse lyric.
The 1, 2, 3 kid.
1, 2, 3 kid. That's me. I'm on the run. You'll never catch me. I'm Jack the Jobber, babyface robber, something like. Yeah, I'm famous for my thieving. Love a bit of that in the ring.
I've got it. You come out and you've got a valet. She will escort you to the ring. Not a company. She'll escort you to the ring. Or a big one as well. AC/DC's. She's got the Jack. Da, 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 da. She's got the Jack. And it's you. You're the Jack.
Yeah. I got it.
And when you get in the ring, and she's got. Everyone's playing the Jack. And there you're going. I'm the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Oh man.
She's got the Jack. Da, da, da.
Who's the valet?
Who do you want, Jack?
I don't mind. I want it to be over with.
Alison Breeze.
Alison
Brie.
Alison Brie.
That's right.
Oh,
She's
Glow's
a bit cheesy for my liking, but Jack likes her.
Glow's got a great theme tune, by the way. It's Shooting at the Walls of Heartache, Bang Bang. What a tune. Can I come out to that one instead?
No.
You want?
Okay, but no, I can't.
But Jack, it is your turn. Turn the gun on us. What are you going to pick?
I already had one in mind for Adam, but for Maffew, it just came to me there. Obviously, John Cena's in the ring, whatever. It's the open challenge. It's Goldberg's theme for Maffew because of last week's mistake or the 2 weeks ago mistake.
No.
He comes out and has Maffew tattooed on his stomach. So that's Maffew's one. But there's the big build-up coming out the locker room and all that. And on his walk to the ring, he does the Shockmaster through the thing. Because it's a botch. Yeah. In fact, he can recreate loads of famous botches on the way to the ring. Yeah, that would be good.
Slides under the ring.
Yeah, like Titus. Yeah.
I can get lost on the way to the ring.
Yeah, like Jericho.
Backstage. I'm like, where am I?
Adams, honestly, this is just on instinct. I think the best one for you would be Flowers in the Window by Travis.
Lovely song.
Because it's just lovely song. Not very wrestling-y, but that would be funnier if he's coming out, now, look at you now. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, people could sing along with that.
Is Flowers in the Window? I like that one. It's one of their better ones, I think, actually.
Yeah, Invisible Band.
That's a wrestling theme that you can bring home to your mum.
Yeah.
Rather like
I was watching him at the Isle of Wight Festival. He wrote that song for his wife. Forgot the bloody words on stage. He had to get down into the crowd and go, what are the words? And I was shouting, oh, wow, look at you now, flowers in the... Didn't hear me. That's why.
You forgot the chorus?
No, I think it was the verse.
Oh, thank God.
When I first held you, I was cold. A melting snowman, I was told. But I won't carry on. Go on.
It's good.
Thank you.
That was a good question. I enjoyed that.
I like that question. Let's move on to the next one. Hi, fellas. I wanted to start by saying that I absolutely love what all you guys do. My love for wrestling comes and goes, but I find that your videos in those wavering times keep me so well engaged and invested. I am one of those that will genuinely listen to the podcast having not watched a second of wrestling for weeks, in brackets, as weird as that may be. I don't think that's that weird, to be honest with me. Your fun-loving and carefree nature for the way you express opinion and also talk about yourselves is also very refreshing. As with most people born in the 90s, myself 93, wrestling was hot as poo until it wasn't. And I've never really had anyone to relate to with the topic since. Not out of embarrassment, such was the case in late high school, mid to late 2000s, but more to the fact that it's not a common interest in my friendship circles. So thank you. The manner in which you guys talk so often makes me feel included in a community I'd otherwise likely fallen away from. Nice. My questions arise from WCPW shows, in particular the one at the Ice Ring in Altrincham, Greater Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
Greater Manchester.
I was going to say, is that pushing a bit there to Greater Manchester with a mulligan. I managed to drag along 5 friends who were huge wrestling fans in the Attitude Era, but I hadn't even seen an episode of Raw since. We had seen the most incredible night.
It's a gamble.
Pints were being sold in 4s at a discount. Instead of splitting them, naturally we bought 4 apiece about 3 times. And so I did the normal thing and splitting them. Wow. As the night ended, we got a tram into town. And upon leaving the tram, I put my brother in the cleanest of rear naked chokes. There's a strong chance he didn't fight back. But as a celebration, I decided to leap from the steps down Deansgate platform in Manchester, which is a fair drop, and resulted in me taking about 6 inches of skin off my foot after scraping it quite horrifically in a wall. I was greeted by a chorus of "Ways" on top of the personal shame from my mates. The rest of the night was ruined, and I couldn't walk properly for around a month. So the question is more personal. What's your craziest or most embarrassing story after a wrestling night out? Cheers, JT 27 from Manchester.
Oh,
Well, that many ups and downs as a heart monitor, mate. Thank you very much for that.
yeah.
God.
Thanks for bringing your mates along to the show, though. That's a nice thing to do. I'm glad you had a good time. They would have been that group who don't normally go to wrestling shows, and all the purists are like, they need to respect what's going on.
Or even
Cheering
better,
the good guys.
Yeah, right. Even better, they're people going, it's all right, but I've seen better elsewhere in progress. And they're the ones going, that was the greatest match I've ever seen in my life. So, wrestling needs these newbies coming in. But yeah, most what was the word? Most craziest or most embarrassing story after a wrestling night out.
Oh, so go on.
I've got a similar one to Matey's there. What was his name, sorry?
JT, 2 letters.
JT. Big shout out to you, JT. Justin Timberlake. So I was after
that was so James Acaster. Big shout out to you, yeah. Fair play.
It was after some wrestling show. It was on the Isle of Wight because it was outside the Co-op in Ryde. And I can't remember what it would have been, but I got to telling my mate Gant about Jeff Hardy, and I was doing the Jeff Hardy dances. And you know the bike racks, they're like a upside down U shape. There was maybe 10 or 15 of those in a row, and I did the Jeff Hardy dance going across those, stepping from thing to thing, stacked it completely, and knackered my ankle for a month as well.
Wow.
The other one, which isn't crazy at all, but it always makes me laugh, was following some WCPW show. This isn't crazy at all. It was Elimination Chamber night. It must have been the night where Bray won the title, and we couldn't do reactions videos for it. And we were in the hotel lobby watching it, all crowded around a laptop. There were probably about 15 of us there, like commentators. There were some wrestlers there who wanted to see the action. And first of all, we tried to get some drinks, and we got drinks out of bags, and the staff came over and went, sorry, you can't drink in here, the bar's shut. It's like, well, we're on our, it doesn't matter, does it? No, you can't drink in here. And then 30 minutes later, the man in charge went, oh, actually, guys, I'm quite tired. And then he just closed the laptop lid of the Elimination Chamber and went to bed, leaving all of us without a way of watching Elimination Chamber. And so we just sat there for 10 minutes making conversation and went, yeah, I guess we should go to bed too. And so we all just went to bed, didn't even see the end of the show. Not random at all, but it always... Oh. Wow. It was... yeah, it was ridiculous.
That was a good night.
You were there, right? You must have been there.
I went to bed halfway through.
Did you? Before the laptop was closed?
Then I woke up and I heard that before the main event he'd gone, sorry lads, just that's the thing. Oh man. The problem is that whenever... I don't know if I can talk about... the minibus story is just the best one. But anyway,
You can tell it. Of course yeah.
oh, the microphone. No, am I still on?
Yeah.
You can still hear me. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was just that we were waiting in the lobby to get driven to the next. No, the mic. It doesn't want me to tell the story.
Fight it, shoot on it.
Can you still hear me now?
We can. We're really, really eagerly anticipating.
No, it's because it's not even that. The problem is it's not even that good. It's just
you had to be
we'll
there.
be the judge of that. Come on,
We're waiting in the morning to get driven to the next show in the minibus, and our minibus was like presenters and a couple of the camera guys, and it wasn't the talent, it wasn't the wrestlers, right? So we're down there waiting to get driven to the next city, and the guy's gone, right, I'll go and get the minibus from the multi-story car park. Just wait here. So we're waiting there for like 5 minutes. We're like, And there'd been a bit of an issue the previous night with the password for the multi-story car park, so there was all that as well. We're like, has he forgot the password again? And then we're waiting and waiting. The wrestlers come down. They're like, see you later, lads. They all get in their cars. They go, we'll see you in Sheffield or wherever we were going. We'll see you there. The wrestlers leave. We're still waiting there. It's been 30, 35 minutes by this point. We're like, where's the minibus now? And eventually we see through the multi-story car park, it started to come down, and we're like, oh, there he is. I bet he's crashed the bloody minibus. And the minibus comes down and turns to the side, and there's just this scrape down the side of the minibus. We're like, nah, he actually crashed the minibus. And it was a rental, which was a shame. But the thing, all that's happened there is I've told the story about how someone scraped the minibus against the wall when he was driving out of the car park, but it was a lot funnier than that at the time. It really
but
was.
what had happened?
He just scraped it.
It was just the build of like
okay.
Imagine if he's crashed the bloody minibus.
Bet he's crashed the minibus.
You see the massive thing, and then he came in and went, I crashed the minibus. Is that what that is?
It was one of those where like we were watching him come down, and one or two of the lads must have seen it on the pass, but like round and they've gone, I think there's something on the side of the minibus. And then by the time we got to the bottom, we were all just like, what's happened here? It was very funny, very funny. But I felt bad for him as well.
That's a good story, Jack. The one that comes to my head was...
Oh no, is that my story? I had another one. Go for it, Maffew.
Okay.
Go for it. No, you go first to break it up.
All right. This could be the refresher. This could be... Chikara's first tour of the UK in 2014. They did with Fight Club Pro and some others. Staying at Wolverhampton in that legendary hotel, which looks like if you made a house out of Lego and then you run out of Lego midway through and use Duplo for the rest.
Oh, the Murder Hotel.
Yeah, the Murder Hotel.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I've stayed in the Murder Hotel.
Probably seen it on Crimewatch, so Pacitti knows it by reputation. And we're there, and it's been a long night, been up since 3 a.m. Up 2, 3 a.m. with guys like maybe I won't say their names, because we were just having a nice night out and drinking and stuff. And then I'm there, in my little bed, which was bloody awful. I gotta say, it was such a bad place. Just awful bed. And then the fire alarm goes off. And your brain goes, oh, fire alarm goes. Well, you only usually hear that during a drill. So that could be a drill at 5 a.m, is it, Maffew? Christ. And then I get out and see people running, and you actually pay attention. Fire exit here, I run out, I trip over the doors, I go out very dramatically, and I've grabbed all my stuff, and I'm like, running. Because you see all these...
grabbed your stuff?
Yeah. It was right next to me. I mean, I didn't take anything out. It's like...
It's not on that.
Okay, so I just coming to run out. I can't see any flames, so I'm all right. I can see it, everything's cool, and I'm waiting outside. And then, very steadily, people come out in various states of dress. The promoter at the time was not happy because many of the wrestlers not only had not got their prestigious Chikara title belts, so if there was a fire, they would presumably be smelted down. There's liquid gold around the hotel. And also many of them hadn't put on their bloody lucha masks at 5 a.m. to run out.
What?
And... it was funny for a number of reasons. One was the Brits who stayed at the hotel, like, oh, God, I hope everyone's all right. Because the fire engine came out and everything. Like, oh, God, it could be horrible. It's a proper fire and all this. Who knows what's going to happen? All the Americans were like, this damn hotel disturbing my beauty sleep. I expect at least a mint on my pillow tomorrow morning to make up this inconvenience. And the funniest thing was one certain wrestler, whose name came out in their pajamas, which was a Batman onesie in a shivering, cold, raining night in Wolverhampton. And I took a photo with the Chikara promoter, them looking very upset and dumbfounded about what's happening, fire engine in the background, and me grinning like an idiot because I'm still drunk.
Can you afterwards tell me who that was, please? After the
show, will yeah.
Give us a clue.
He's no longer wrestling.
Oh,
That's why I don't want to name him.
No.
So, Jack, what was your story?
Mine's after a...
Is that how you crashed a minibus?
No, mine's not after a wrestling show, but it's after the Bullet Club party in Tokyo, which counts, I feel, counts. Because it's the drunkest I've been in years. It was one of the most surreal nights ever. Me, Sam, and Richard Tubman got invited to a meal with Tama Tonga and the Bullet Club, obviously, which was alluded to on a recent podcast. So now I'm going to talk about it because you laughed at me for not talking about it. And we go to this meal and it's brilliant. And then we go to the Bullet Club party, which is in Bad Luck Farley's bar. And I got so drunk. We did our jobs first. And then I got very, very drunk afterwards. And it gets to about midnight. And Tubman, the least drunk of the three, very sensibly is like, lads, we should probably think about going soon because the tube or the metro is going to shut soon and taxis are like well expensive over here. And me and Sam are like, yeah, sound. Stay another hour and get more drunk. And I'm like, don't really want to go home. Yeah. And then me and Sam like talk to Tubman and we're like, mate, we'll pay your third of the taxi if we stay, which we shouldn't have done because it was very expensive and annoying. But he's like, all right, fine, we'll stay then. Get more drunk. And then my night starts to go into like bits. And I remember being attacked because also there was lots of very, very nice people there who knew who we were and were buying us drinks and stuff. It's easy to get very drunk in those situations. And then we filmed the intro for the interview we did with Farley after the interview itself, which we had to scrap because I'm way too drunk in it. I'm like, hey guys, this is the intro for the video with Bad Luck Farley. And then we're getting the taxi, and I remember sitting in the front and leaning over and nearly falling onto the driver and the gear stick and stuff. It's bad crack. And then trying really hard not to be sick, because I thought if I'm sick in this taxi, he's gonna charge us loads of money. Get back to the hotel. I've made it back. I'm like, great, absolutely brilliant. Go to the toilet. Don't even need to go to the toilet. I sit down on the closed toilet seat, and then about half an hour later, I'm still there apparently. Just get woken up by a knocking on the door. And I'm like, what? And it's Sam or Richard saying like, we need a wee, can you hurry up please? And I'm like, yeah mate, yeah. And I go to get up and I'm covered in sick. And I'm just like, oh, no. In this tiny little Japanese YMCA bathroom.
You don't even remember vomiting?
No, I don't even remember being sick. Quite dangerous really.
Yeah, it is dangerous,
yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I was sitting up.
On the toilet?
Yeah, so I cleaned all the sick up with the towels and then prayed that the cleaner didn't get too disgusted with, because I just put the towels in the bath and turned the shower on and tried my best. It was so bad. So that's the worst state I've ever been. That's the worst night after a wrestling related thing.
I love the drunken cleaning stuff up thing. Like if you've ever made a mess when you're dry. I remember spilling a bottle of red wine on my mate Ben's carpet at home and then going, oh yeah, no, it's right. You just need to put white wine on it. White wine didn't work, so I ended up emptying his dad's whiskey all over it. Really expensive bottle. I got such a bollock. I had to pay for it in my pocket money.
Oh.
Still getting pocket money at 17 years old.
Fair.
See, I never got drunk back at home. Waited to move out to do that. But the first time my brother came back, drunk as out, I thought my mum would kill him. I thought my mum would just bury him in the back garden after he did. But no, apparently he came in, he was so bad. All he did was go up and puke in the toilet. And in between puking, he's like, I'm sorry. And she just kept on handing him bits of bread and some glasses of water for him to drink to get his head. Sorry, bleh, eat. Sorry, bleh, eat. And I was like, oh, that's nice. So I thought I need to share that. But it came up my head and I said it. Those were some good stories. But guess what? There's our last question. Imagine if Saving Sunderland wasn't a stream, it was a blockbuster movie of Jack and Owen as superheroes running around with capes solving crimes in Sunderland. I think that would be really good. And his question is, thoughts? Question mark. Cheers, Jack Coyle.
Thank you, Jack Coyle.
Wow,
Thoughts?
What do we think about? Yeah, what are your thoughts?
I like it.
I don't know. You don't really get Hollywood level crime in Sunderland. You get more arson, hate crime, racism.
You could solve racism.
Solve
I believe
it.
in you.
Yeah. With a cape and a Crimewatch roadshow.
I don't know, but it's worth noting at this stage that we got sacked this week from Sunderland. on the
Yeah,
stream.
and told me.
Did you?
Yeah.
What, the real Sunderland?
What? It's Football Manager. We play Football Manager once a week. Where's he
I
gone?
know, but in my head I'm like, the real Sunderland tweeted you and said, like, no, can you stop?
No, just the virtual one. It was very disappointing.
So where are you going to start from?
Well, we're going to put a vote out. Either we're going to create Owen in the game and just carry on with Sunderland, or we're going to do it properly, where if you get sacked on Football Manager, following the rules, you've just got to go into the job centre bit and just try and find another football team to manage.
It's a job centre. Can you get non-football jobs?
No,
Oh.
it's not. It's just Football Manager. It's not Life Manager. So yeah, we're going to have to try and do that. We might go abroad, if we can find it. The
Bit of a
problem
holiday,
is,
that'd be nice.
though, there's no. It's not like Man United are in for us. It's lower level.
Because you're such a failure now. Like your stock has been lowered.
Honestly,
so
there's a
only the crap-
reputation in the game. Yeah.
Oh bollocks! But you got them to the bloody Premier Championship. I can't remember which one it is.
The third tier to the second, and then the next season started off horrifically, and now we've been sacked in the second tier.
Still, you've done a good job.
Thank
But
you. I know.
You know
I
your
know.
limits, and they know your limits, so they shouldn't. You can end up managing Bogner or something.
Our scouting team were really bad. We've been linked with Forest Green in the division below. Forest
Never
Green.
Forest-
They're near Cheltenham,
Right.
near the Cotswolds. I've been watching season 3 of This Country. I've not even, because the
That's
Cotswolds
great,
reminded me. I've only ever seen the first 2. It's the one. It's quite a poignant episode with the driving when the Reverend's teaching them how to drive.
Yep.
Oh, I
it
really
gets.
like.
It gets.
Oh, does it?
Just you wait. I won't say anything.
Oh, the Reverend. I love the Reverend now. He's a lovely man.
He's
Feel bad
lovely.
for
It'd be a
him.
shame if he died.
No,
He doesn't. He doesn't.
Oh.
No, he doesn't.
Anyway, that was a strange question. I don't know what you guys can.
No, I think that's it.
I think we allot a budget for it and we do it.
Yeah.
Next
we
week.
went. Imagine me and Owen going around. Excuse me, can you be in a group of 6 or less, please? Sunderland's rougher than Newcastle. 100%. Yeah. Oh, you've been.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not as. It's rougher than Newcastle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Right now, if you do this, you're not going to be in any capes, you're going to be in hazmat suits. We went from your
Go have some cheesy chips, please. The
we went from
mathematics.
your run in the Damned United. I was trying to think, actually, Sunderland. Because there was a famous joke book that got sold at some Newcastle games like years and years ago that my dad kept. It was one of my favourite. It's my dad's favourite things. I still remember some of the favourite jokes he kept. But it's all like, people you don't like or that area you don't like. But I remember the favourite one was this person going to Sunderland to see football for the first time. Never been to Sunderland. So they get on the metro, go there, and they get off. And they ask somebody, are you from around here? He goes, yeah. Well, how do I get to the stadium? He goes, look, just follow the crowds. And they did. 10 minutes later, they're at Woolworths.
Have you heard Bob Mortimer's Come to Sunderland? It's a song called Welcome to Sunderland, and it's Bob Mortimer just saying stuff like, go down the supermarket, get some fags to give to your... Fags is cigarettes, by the way. Jesus. Just to point out there for the Americans. To give to your kids, or like, drop the kids off at the pub, go and say hello to the man who walks his dog on the roundabout. Just stuff like that. It's a very offensive... It's a very offensive
Very true.
song. Yeah, it's true.
Once on the way back from a wrestling show, one of the wrestlers was driving. I won't say who, but he didn't like the Sunderland people, and he played a song called "Dirty Monkey Mackem."
Dirty Mackem, Dirty Monkey Mackem. God, I've not
Dirty
heard
Mackem,
that.
you're from Sunderland.
Sunderland, yeah.
Yeah, no, he played that.
Because that comes from Peter Reid, Monkey Seed, by the way, in case there's any
Peter Reid's got a monkey seed.
misinterpretations of that song.
Peter Reid was the manager.
Keys are these? Weeze
Keys are these Keys? Yeah.
Something.
So you know Ant, the ginger guy who helps out at Rise, runs Stay Gold.
Oh, yeah,
Ant. Yeah.
He's big now.
What?
He's big, like in shape.
He's been training to be a wrestler. Yeah.
Oh.
He there was a night at Stay Gold where they brought, it was like pop punk pizza party or whatever. They were bringing out pizza for the people there, And his Mackem accent was fantastic over the... So the song would be going on, it'd be like, I don't know, like Taking Back Sunday or whatever, and then you just hear, this one's a cheese pizza. And then just like, this one's steer gold, this one's meat feast. If you're a vegetarian, don't eat it. Fantastic. So good. It was really... And then just back to like, your lipstick is called a dumper. This pizza's a pepperoni. It's fantastic. I don't know if he listens to these. That's not meant to be like a jazz. I love Ant. He's brilliant.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Stupid voice though. No, I'm joking. He's
got a Mackem, just a Mackem accent.
All right, that's it. That's the end of the mailbag. If you have any questions, or thoughts or anything else, please send them to Cultaholic.
No, Jesus Christ.
No.
Mailbag at cultaholic.com. I don't even do the podcast.
Mate, I'm too busy laughing at that. Mailbag at cultaholic.com.
It was genuinely
Dancing in the moonlight. Stuffed crust.
Steer gold. This one's a cheese pizza. And also funnier because Stay Gold's downstairs at the Head of Steam, the small one at Central, so it's a tiny room as well. And this poor like lass comes out with a pizza, and emos are just reaching in like before the pandemic, obviously. Yeah. Oh, anyway.
Thank you. That was the mailbag. Now it's time for Reese's Pieces. How are you, lads? As you all know, 2020 has been a bad year. With that in mind, I have put together a Reese's Pieces selection with a bit of a twist. I provided a list of distasteful angles, terrible booking decisions, and disappointing feuds, and all you have to do is decide which of each of the following is the worst. So the worst of the two, not the best one. All right. Enjoy. Connor from Dublin. Oh, Jack has a great Dublin accent.
Cheers,
anyway,
Connor.
moving on. This is fastest thought first, so we'll go with Jack, Pacitti, me. Bray Wyatt cosplaying as Sister Abigail during the Finn Balor feud. Forgot about that. Or Bray Wyatt's spooky projection images, WrestleMania 33.
I was there for the projection, and it was even worse in person, so that one.
Yeah, spooky projection, just because, I don't know, Bray's character had taken a bit of a beating by the Sister Abigail stuff already, but the projection, it was the WWE title match, wasn't it? And it was just like that in that match. Yeah.
And he lost.
He did.
I'm going to go with the cosplay, because we also got Pumpkin Finn Balor, but we did. Anyway. Because like, oh, you're really scary, eh? Well, I'll show you scary. It's a pumpkin. It's like, oh. AJ Styles versus Nakamura feud for 2018, or the Daniel Bryan versus The Miz feud from 2018. What?
Yeah, I don't... the AJ Nakamura one had good matches in it, but he was kicking him in the balls all the time. I'll go for the Bryan Miz one, because to me that was more of a letdown, I think.
Yeah, they might go back to it. I reckon they can still go back to Bryan Miz and add another chapter. I'm going to go, Nakamura AJ, because it was just so disappointing.
I'll go on Bryan versus The Miz, because they kept on having The Miz try and wrestle like Bryan, which negated the entire point of what they were talking about. Tim White's suicide angle from 2005, or Vince McMahon's Dr. Heine sketch from 2005.
Tim White's suicide angle, 100%.
Yeah, suicide angle.
Yeah, for people who don't remember, Tim White tried to commit suicide, just kept on failing each time.
It's like 30 times.
Yeah. And already, Hornswoggle revealed as Vince McMahon's illegitimate son, or Hornswoggle revealed as anonymous Raw GM?
The illegitimate son, because at least that tied up a loose end. At least the anonymous GM tied up a loose end.
Yeah, I'm for almost the same reason. I'm gonna say the GM thing was worse because it could have been really good. Vince McMahon's son was always going to be naff, whereas the anonymous Raw GM could have been great, and it wasn't. It was Hornswoggle again.
Yeah, I'll say the anonymous Raw GM. And for people who don't remember, this was every bloody episode. God. It was all over the place.
That tone going off, the alert sound.
And you would just assume that, wow, they're really building this up. It's going to go to something. And that was it. And they moved on very quickly.
I think the anonymous GM interrupted The Rock at WrestleMania 27 in the main event, and he had to restart the match, and the GM was like,
Yeah, just rotten. Anyway,
Quick diaper.
True.
Michael Cole got the script on the laptop to read. I forgot about that. Randy Orton claiming Eddie Guerrero is in hell, 2006. Or Paige mocking Charlotte over the death of Reed Flair, 2015. I forgot about that one.
That Page one for me, because it came out of absolutely nowhere as well, and it was so needless.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're both incredibly distasteful, but I'll go with the Page one as well.
I'll go with, if we put the first one in, then we have to put pretty much everything Rey Mysterio was involved in from 2005, 2006, because every promo was like, I'm going to win the match because Eddie's watching. It was just horrible.
Yeah.
He couldn't have ordered a Subway sandwich without going, I'll have 2 to go, 1 for me.
Oh, God, no.
It was horrible. It was just the most... And even better, Chavo Guerrero came out one time on SmackDown, was pre-recorded, and went, "We're sick. I'm sick of you, Rey Mysterio. Always bring up Eddie Guerrero to make yourself look good." And the crowd cheered. So they had to cut that segment out when it was shown on TV. So anyway, Road Warrior Hawk, Alcoholism, Storyline 98. Or Heidenreich kidnapping Michael Cole, 2004.
I feel like probably the Hawk one, because it was close to home. It was quite real. Because wasn't Hawk actually struggling with stuff?
Yeah, he was, yeah. I agree with the Hawk thing, because I feel like the Hawk one was intended to be funny. A point like him falling off the Tron wasn't meant to be a big dramatic moment. It was meant to be a comedy moment. But from what I remember, I haven't seen it in a long time. So I'll go with that. But again, both awful.
Yeah, the Road Warriors asked, "Hey, Vince McMahon, can we do an angle about alcohol abuse and things? It'd be good for the audience." And they came back with the Chuckle Brothers discover turpentine. It was just an absolute mess. Yeah, that one. Rusev, Lana, Dolph Ziggler, Summer Rae angle from 2015. I forgot Summer Rae. Or Rusev, Lana, Bobby Lashley, Liv Morgan angle 2019.
The second one for me, just because Liv was like, I'm going to reinvent myself, and then she came back and wore black and fancied Lana now. It was nonsensical.
The second one just because it's more fresh in the memory, but again, both bad.
I'll pick the first. Yeah, I think I'll pick the first one because I think that one went on forever, and I don't remember much about how long the other one lasted. Daniel Bryan defeated in 18 seconds at WrestleMania 28, or CM Punk losing to Triple H at Night of Champions 2011.
The Punk one, because the Bryan one led to better things.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, the only thing the other one led to was Punk leaving.
Yeah.
So good times. Cena overcoming the Nexus in 2010. Or Cena overcoming the Wyatt family 2014. Or John Cena overcoming Rusev 2015.
Or John Cena overcoming... I'll go for the Nexus one because it could have given us the first ever English WWE champion, and it didn't.
Yeah, I agree with the Nexus thing. In the Wade was he was main event potential, didn't he? He could have been a really decent champion. It's not to say all of the Nexus were good, because they certainly weren't. Hi, Michael. But yeah, it was really damaging, and I think that really sort of in a lot of fans' minds cemented the sort of Super Cena meme did him no favors.
And people have come out since and said Cena said, "Yeah, you know what? Probably shouldn't have beat at SummerSlam 2010, that big main event." Yeah, thanks, mate. Triple H defeats Booker T at WrestleMania 19, or Triple H defeats Sting WrestleMania 31.
Oh, the Booker T one, because I actually found the Sting one very hilarious. Really funny.
Yeah, Booker as well, because like it was just a marquee match, wasn't it? The Sting thing. Sting wasn't like an up and comer. He wasn't a future main eventer. He'd done everything that he needed to.
Yeah,
got paid loads. Good for him.
And there was no uncomfortable undertones to the Sting one.
Yeah, and if they're going to have any angle of uncomfortable overtones or stuff, that Bruce Pritchard on his podcast says, like, "Oh, hey, it's not our fault that you misinterpreted it," and all this stuff. If you're going to do that, it's excusable by wrestling standards, as long as he wins. As long as Booker T defeats the bad guy. If he doesn't, it's just like, oh, okay, great. The Fiend versus Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell 2019. or The Fiend versus Goldberg, Super Showdown 2020?
The first one, I think, because it was just another level of bad. The second one was just a bad booking decision. The first one was so badly written. So weird.
Agreed. Yeah, like Fiend was still fresh, and we were all very excited by him, and that was not a nail in the coffin, but it just damaged him so much, didn't it? Stupid hammer.
Big hammer. And what did Dio Madden say? He's going to impale him. Giant comedy hammer.
X-Pac backstage, like, what?
Yeah, I forgot about the watch along. Yeah.
I don't care if I'm never invited to one of these ever again. But how can you do a DQ? And I'm surprised you just didn't cut him there and then cut the black. Like, please wait. But good for you, X-Pac. Shane McMahon becomes the best in the world. Crown Jewel 2018, God help us. Or Goldberg versus The Undertaker, Super Showdown 2019.
I'm going to go for the Shane one, because even though Goldberg Undertaker was terrifying and stuff, I'm going to go for the Shane one because it was meant to annoy the audience, and it did annoy me, so that one.
I loved the Shane one. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was great.
Andy Kaufman.
No, it was really funny. It was a stupid made-up tournament, which was bollocks anyway. And eventually we got heel dickhead, best in the world, Shane McMahon. A Goldberg for me. And Taker, sorry.
Again, Shane McMahon becomes best in the world. That lasted forever and hasn't been good much for anybody.
Yeah.
And also to remember, Crown Jewel 2018 was one of the worst shows they've put on in the last few years by a country mile.
But also one of the funniest.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, sure.
Purely from a selfish
the main event. Yeah, I forgot.
Purely from a selfish point of view, one of the things about lockdown and COVID and everything I miss most about wrestling is those Saudi shows. Yes, they're immoral. Yes, they shouldn't be happening. But something would happen at each one where we were just like, what's going on? And the numbers on the news videos were great.
Right. Yeah, I miss the days when the drama in wrestling was they booked a sumo guy because one of the Saudi princes really wanted to see Yokozuna.
Fantastic. Couldn't write it.
Those new story, yeah. Retribution or Raw Underground?
Raw Underground.
Raw Underground. Retribution could still be good, especially with Ali there.
Yeah, I'll say Retribution because Raw Underground haven't angrily tweeted at me. The never-ending Apollo Crews versus the Hurt Business feud. Hey, now, nothing wrong with that. Or the never-ending Seth Rollins versus Mysterio Family feud 2020. Or the never-ending Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton feud 2020.
I'll go for the Apollo Lashley one because I think out of the three, it's had the least amount of good matches. Not bad matches, just the least good matches out of the three. Yeah,
Apollo as well, because I think Seth is great. Especially heel Seth anyway is great. I just don't care about Apollo, so I can never really enjoy the matches that much. Oh.
I'll say McIntyre versus Orton because I'm actually enjoying the other two still. Trish Stratus barks like a dog in 2001, woof woof moo moo, or Katie Vick 2002.
Oh, Katie Vick's another level. Katie Vick.
Though I did like it when they showed clips of Trish Stratus barks like a dog, and that interview Vince McMahon had. Was it John? The guy on HBO when he's just like, "Oh, that's the clip you show, is it? Is it?" And he turned into this McMahon character and is in. Oh, it's amazing. David Arquette becomes WWE champion. Or Jon Stewart screws John Cena, SummerSlam 2015.
David Arquette. I'm going to go for David Arquette. But he seems like a nice guy and regretful about it, but I'm still going to go for David Arquette.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it. Oh, you got to go for David Arquette, don't you? Because it caused a great deal of damage to WCW. I almost said WCPW there. But I like David Arquette as a person more than John. Because I know them both incredibly well, obviously.
Yeah, I can't put... Even though Arquette maybe was, at that point, WCW was... it was a burnt-out car wreck, and this was the equivalent to stealing one of the tyres. There was nothing that could have been done. And Arquette's lovely and has wrestled properly for a while. Jon Stewart screwed John Cena, I'm still mad about. Because it was, how we're going to get this booking decision? Let's have Jon Stewart show up and ruin the match. And still annoyed. Anyway... That is it. That is the dramatic finale of Reese's Pieces. Thank you very much. If you have any Reese's Pieces, thank you for keeping it shortish at 16, by the way. Please send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com.
It's Cultaholics.
Wow, what a great, incredibly long podcast. And it's just a bit more to go, ladies and gentlemen. This week's big question is, in honor of his 30th anniversary, what is your favourite Chris Jericho moment? There's been a lot of them over 30 years. Who wants to go first?
Inspired by something that was brought up earlier, I had one in mind, actually, which I won't use because it might be somebody else's. It's one of my earliest memories of Chris Jericho. So I'm going to say it's my favourite. It's probably not, but it was a great moment. It was him spoofing Goldberg's entrance with Ralphus and... What was his name? He had on his T-shirt, I think it said Jerichoholic Ninja. But I don't know if that was whoever that was. He gets lost first of all backstage, and then he comes out and it's the crappiest pyro ever, and he throws a fit because he's annoyed about the crappy pyro. And I thought at the time, it was like the funniest thing I'd ever seen, and it's my first memory of a wrestler imitating another wrestler. And of course it had been done before that, but that's the first one that I remember. And before that, I didn't really care that much about Jericho. I thought he sometimes was funny and I really like good wrestler and all that. But it was proper slapstick brilliance. His comedic chops very much on show, and thought, yeah, he's quite special, isn't he?
That's a good one. I've got two and I can't separate them, so I'll chuck both in. His debut in 1999 and the promo, because it's just brilliant and he comes across so like electric. And I always get disagreed with for this, but I think it's the best debut of all time. And everyone goes, what about Kane? I prefer Jericho's to Kane's. I've just got to say. Or this one's a bit more specific. The feud with The Rock, where The Rock's mocking him and like clowning him in a promo. And then Jericho loses it and kind of goes out of character a bit. And he's like, no, this is not a joke. I'm not a joke, damn it. And it's like, whoa. And he's like standing up to The Rock. And it's like, it's the first time he's not been goofy and silly. And he's actually like serious and he's lost it a little bit. Love that as a character moment as well. I really love that promo. And I think Jericho went on to win as well. I think he might have beaten him too. Yeah.
That's late 2001.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that. And I think I bring up several times, I probably should actually watch them back again. But the memory of probably seen a few of them on YouTube is during that feud, Jericho won by hitting Rock with a chair. So then The Rock would show up. And I still haven't seen any other wrestler do this. I don't know why, because they should. Go, oh, Jericho, me and you could go at it tonight, okay, for revenge of that match. Fantastic. Well, and he hands Jericho a chair. There you go. You'll need this, big man. And I was like, that's such a great thing. Like, oh, you're going to... Here, like giving a dude a chair and almost like daring him to use it again. The guy's like, well, I can't hit him with it because he's proven my point. That was awesome. Well, Jack picked two of the ones I was going to pick. So I'm going to go with... No, but there's plenty to go with after 30 years. I'm going to go with... Because me and Tom are watching SmackDown 2000, and they call it classic SmackDown review. When he beats Triple H for the title on Raw, but he doesn't... because El Hebner is also feuding with Triple H, so he's had to go 1, 2, 3 after a lion salt, and suddenly like he's the champ, and then Triple H goes, no, you weren't the original ref, that was disgusting. But it suddenly gave him like these balls, like he did pin Triple H, and he's trying to go, no, he didn't. But I was like, he did, and just that mega push of beating the champ, but not quite beating the champ, and had the Last Man Standing match at Fully Loaded 2000, and yeah, he was just cool. In a different way. Because now watching it back, he's clearly not. He's doing all the 98 WCW stuff where he was being a loser, a nerd, and mispronouncing things directly. Listen to me, Chris Benoit, and all this other stuff. But yeah, it was just that he had the long hair and the beard and the break the walls down and all that stuff. He just had that thing about him. And he still does, but in different ways. He might just take crap bits. Like, if any other wrestler did what Jericho was doing, you go, that was awful, mate. But he does it. He's a self-aware cheese monster. And
cheese monster.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, need to also mention, because I was certain one of you would, especially Maffew, but the Man of 1,004 Holds is so brilliant, so good. It's so fantastic. So much of his humour is just so stupid, but he pulls it off with a straight face. It's brilliant.
The heel turn on Sean.
Yeah, as well as saying.
Fantastic. Festival of Friendship.
Yeah.
done quite a lot, hasn't he?
He's done a lot. Yeah.
Vitamin C with
Oh,
Christian. I bet you $1 Canadian we can hook up with Trish as a leader.
The opening of the 2003 Rumble where Christian disguises as Jericho and he jumps
Yes.
Michaels from behind. Love that as well. Yeah.
All of his work with Dr. Luther, I'm a big fan of.
Big Show and Jericho.
But, Jericho. He can tag with
Yeah,
he can tag,
made that work.
He can tag with anyone and make it work. Yeah.
When he was on bloody Big Show's shoulders in the ladder match, getting the fantastic.
Yeah.
Gold.
Creating Money in the Bank and then never winning it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never did.
Yeah.
And he's also,
he's
and it's really a testament to him because he's a brilliant wrestler and he's had loads of brilliant matches. But everything we've said there has been moments rather than matches as well. But he is also fantastic. He's had some brilliant matches over the years.
Oh, and
Giving all those people COVID at that concert.
See, I thought I was going to end it on a low note by saying he had the best 1-2 in history. Not since Roy Jones Jr. have you seen such a combo. When he invented the meme of the year with, ooh, little bit of the bubbly. And then that was day one. And then the same 24 hours of inventing that meme that went everywhere and still joked about, still selling bottles of it. He then lost the AEW title that he won on the pay-per-view at a steakhouse.
Clearly drunk.
Oh,
I forget how that ended. Like, did he claim that the person...
Someone found it on the road.
Yeah, but Jericho claimed that the guy that brought it back was the guy who stole it. Oh, it was crazy. They had to get Jill Dando in to investigate.
Was it you, Maffew, who said... Was it you who said that he'd clearly just left it on the roof of the car and then they'd driven off?
It
and
must have been, yeah.
Like Jinder Mahal. So please let us know your favourite Jericho moments in the comments. Oh, wait, you already have. People like to comment before they even watch the video. Oh, well, thanks very much. But right now, we have come to the sad conclusion of the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. But don't worry, there's another one next week. This is the part of the show where we plug what else is coming up on the Cultaholic world, the Cultaholic sphere. So we'll start off with you, Big Boss. What have we got from you?
Not much, just the draft streams I've got this week. Friday night, or tonight, if you're listening to this as soon as it comes out, I'll be there for SmackDown and Raw.
Lovely. And Jack?
I am doing... Because I was off last week for my birthday, or for the day after my birthday. I'm now doing a double Wrestlers of the Week tomorrow. So it'll be like a 20-part one. So I'll try and condense it as much as I can. But that's the only different thing that's happening, I think.
Fantastic. So that's Bret Hart number 1, Shawn Michaels number 2. I'll see how it goes.
And Maffew, we'll get you on Twitch next week.
Yay.
All right, I thought you wanted to do it.
Oh, sorry. No, I thought that was leading up to a joke, so I wasn't sure. So
No. I meant to drop you a message this week. Let's do it next week. We'll
Cool.
talk.
I can't wait for you to forget to tell me, and like, are you ready for Twitch? And I'm like, I'm in bed.
We'll sort
We're on about. Anyway, so that's great. We'll also have, again, me and Tom on the Cultaholic Classic SmackDown review. It's a watch along this week. Me, Tom, and no, he isn't dead. Others did something there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just, to prove that, no, he's alive. It's not just do it for insurance money. And we might have another one later on with another special guest. But I don't want to say who it is, because then I won't have anything to say next week. Ooh. But until then, please vote for the lovely... Don't you do that. That is a recap. Please send your votes for the Hall of Fame to patreon.com/cultaholic. And any questions, theories, Reese's Pieces, or insults straight to mailbag@cultaholic.com. For now, though, to end, please put your hand to the screen, do a fist, the count of 3, do the thing. 1, 2, 3. Join us. Out focus. Yay. Ta-ra.
Bye, guys.
Bye.